Miss Group Pet, She Only Wants Salted Fish author, 10 Bowls of Rice introduction. Ruan Yu became the brainless cannon fodder in the cool articles of Mary Sue Entertainment Circle. She is fair, beautiful, and has long legs. Because she watched more top-ranking male protagonists, she was scolded by fans as wanting to be superior. Black, the career is bleak. Ruan Yu, a salted fish, has accepted it well, and is planning to quit the circle to study financial management, and rely on interest to lie flat at home as a salted fish. The parents of the richest man and brother BA boss came to her door, looking at her eyes full of guilt. Ruan Yu? Retiring 40 years ahead of schedule, GEU's paralyzed life as a rich woman is coming soon. After returning home for a week, Ruan Yu was immersed in the joy of lying flat, and did not notice the gradually painful eyes of her parents and elder brother. Brother Ba Zong regards Ruan Yu's life as a salted fish who sleeps until the middle of the night as being scolded by the whole network and dare not face the decadence of the outside world. The marketing account that scolded Ruan Yu was brought to court, the resources of the male and female protagonists dropped a few positions, the unscrupulous company was bankrupted by him, the truth surfaced, and the whole internet was shocked. Little poor Ruan Yu became a hot search on the 5th day of searching for Ruan Yu on the internet. The wealthy father regarded her refusal to socialize in the study as an inferiority complex for not wanting to go out, and under the pain invite all the children of celebrities to unravel their daughters. The luxury car stopped for 3 streets. The noble men in suits and leather shoes and the bright and charming young ladies walked in a hurry. When asked what they were going to do, they lightly said, "I should praise my group of friends." The whole network was stunned. Who is the mysterious figure that makes the whole rich family vie for praise? Has become a big unsolved mystery. On the 14th day of looking for Ruan Yu, the wealthy mother regarded her tearing up the top-ranking photos as the anger of her love, and felt distressed find 4 heirs with outstanding temperament, family background, strength, personality and appearance that crush the top class, and let them accompany Ruan Yu to participate in the rich variety show, trying to let her daughter find out how ugly the top class in the variety show is by comparison. On the day the live broadcast started, the whole network finally found Ruan Yu. It turns out that she is not a pitiful little girl, but a group pet eldest lady who has 4 heirs as attendants. As for the top class, he is considered a ball. The male lead and the female lead were suppressed to the point of being unable to stand up, and had to join forces with the villain to target the wealthy parents. They thought that the Ruan family would go bankrupt under the aura of the protagonist, but turned around and found out, the investment master that the entire financial circle is looking for is Ruan Yu. With her help, the wealthy parents not only did not go bankrupt, but became even richer. God pitiful Fu Jiazan knew from an early age that the little princess who had arranged a baby kiss with him was lost. Mrs. Ruan was in tears all day long, holding his little hand and choking with sobs. She said, "If Yo-Yo is not lost, she is about the same age as you, and your childhood sweethearts grew up together, so you can take good care of her." Fu Jiazan wrote down this sentence, and when Yo-Yo was going to take care of her as a fiancé after returning to the wealthy family, the future mother-in-law found him 3 rivals in love. What kind of tragedy is this? The main tone, light comedy, brainless sand sculpture, cool, full of fun, brain tonic emperor. The group pets Mary Sue, the master's family and friendship, the male master's background board demoning, awkward content tags, female supporting role in a wealthy family, sweet text wears books, search keywords, protagonist, Ruan Yu supporting roles, wealthy parents and elder brother, miserable hero others, one sentence introduction, fake little pitiful. Real salted fish rich woman conception, the joy of life brief comment on the work, salted fish Ruan Yu, as the black female supporting role in the novel, resolutely quit the entertainment circle after awakening consciousness, and entered the ideal state of early retirement. Unexpectedly, he was taken home by Ding Gao's parents as soon as he quit the industry. While enjoying the life of spending money every day, he started a ridiculous and very warm daily life with the superficially cold but loyal brother Ba Zong and other Ding Gao heirs. This article has a brisk pace and a humorous writing style. In laughter, the heroine and other characters redeem each other, and achieve reconciliation with herself in daily life. The plot is warm and relaxed, and you will smile knowingly after reading it. In the star observation room of the first season of the variety show The Heirs, the top-notch male star with excellent temperament talked eloquently to the video, with a clear and gentle voice, occasionally mixed with two witty comments, which made everyone chuckle, and his gestures were elegant and decent, becoming the focus of everyone's admiration. The barrage in the live broadcast room was also crazy about him, bang bang against the big wall for him foolishly. Ruan Yu sat on the edge of the soft stool, staring down at the water glass in front of her in a daze, pinching the handle with her white fingertips, out of tune with the laughter present. The frantic influx of news in her mind made her head ache, and she twisted her beautiful eyebrows and eyes. After maintaining this movement for a full 3 minutes, the dull pain disappeared, and the noisy laughter in the observation room also disappeared. The world finally quieted down. Ruan Yu breathed out lightly. But after drinking saliva, her world view was completely overturned. The influx of information showed that the world she lived in was a cool novel in the entertainment industry, and she had become a cannon fodder female supporting role with nothing but beauty and no brains. There are only 5 chapters about her plot in the novel. The female protagonist who has become a top-notch met the male protagonist, and the two attracted a large number of CP fans in the love variety show, secretly prodding and developing an ambiguous relationship. At this time, the brainless Vase Yuan Yu loves and does not have a good career, so she will go home and inherit it. The news of the male protagonist with a fortune of tens of billions came, and he was ridiculed by the male protagonist's fans, abused by CP fans, ridiculed by the female protagonist's fans, and eaten by passers-by. What's even more amazing is that on the 3rd day after the photos came out, she was also a flying guest on the variety show The Heirs with the male and female protagonists. They were all star observers and wanted to comment on the performance of the 6 heirs in the variety show. The Heirs is the most popular variety show this year, and the topic of the whole network is constantly hot. She and the male and female protagonists on the same stage brought the popularity of the variety show to a peak. Tens of millions of viewers poured in, the live broadcast room collapsed twice. Just thinking about the plot of Shura Field made people's scalp tingle. The atmosphere is heightened to this point, and the director also wants to do something. Then during the live broadcast, the host deliberately asked her a question: "How long have you liked Cheng Gaiwan? I watched him so affectionately a few days ago, and my heart was moved. Is he so good looking?" In the novel, Yuan Ruan blushed and remained silent. Before the crowd was excited by the heroine's boldness for 2 seconds, the male protagonist immediately replied, "I have someone I like," and his eyes were still poking at the female protagonist. Which perfectly demonstrates the good quality of the hero in the novel who loves the heroine physically and mentally. Ruan Yu was ridiculed by the crowd, and then in a big adventure session, she became a tool person who was slapped in the face by the heroine. After the variety show, she was hacked all over the internet and her career was completely ruined. Generally speaking, she is the cannon fodder tool person in the novel, the toad who wants to eat swan meat. Kind of outrageous. Ruan Yu has no feelings for top streamers. As for why there are rumors of admiration for top streamers, it is purely gossip paparazzi who read pictures and make up random pictures, and the aura of the plot is really strong. 3 days ago, she participated in an event held by the jewelry brand Kagurui. Most celebrities could only borrow jewelry from the brand to wear them. Only the male lead, Cheng Gaiwan, bought a brooch worth tens of millions. She took a second look at that time and captured this. The paparazzi of the scene immediately posted the picture on the internet. The event was held outdoors. At night, it was hazy and light rain, and there was an endless stream of stars coming and going. The atmosphere was great. Ruan Yu in the corner stared at Cheng Gaiwan with watery eyes, eyes full of love. JPG The photos with great atmosphere and the paparazzi's exquisite ability to read and make up pictures, forcibly created Ruan Yu as an infatuated and secret love character. So far, the story about her in the novel has gone through 2 chapters, and there are 3 more tragic chapters waiting for her. Yuan Ruan. The light laughter of the host resounded in the celebrity observation room, and the eyes of other people present also fixed on her. Ruan Yu raised her eyes. The apricot pupils twinkle slightly and are charming, revealing a bit of coquettishness in their cuteness. Thick black curly hair as thick as seaweed fell down to the fingertips. Under the deep black, the slender fingers were as white as suet. Under the bright white light, the whole person seemed to be glowing. The room was instantly quiet. Beautiful. No matter how many times I look at it, this face is breathtakingly beautiful. It's like spring light pouring into my heart in March, making my heart warm. Should I say it or not, this face is easy to poke me. I have been a fan of her for 2 years, and the resources are not good enough. Recently, there is a tendency to fall in love with brains. If it weren't for this face, I would have run away long ago. Chi-usikuunyyds, don't touch porcelain without thinking about vases. No way, it's not like there are female celebrities rushing to get involved in other people's love affairs these days, right? Cheng Gaiwan has shown his love to Yu Chi many times in the romance show. There are still people who are blind and can't see it, right? I beg the CP fan circle to be self-cute. The love drama is for the show, our brother focuses on his career. The bullet screen scolded into a ball, but Ruan Yu calmed down, her petite lips were slightly pursed, and her eyes were calm. Her fair fingers pushed away the water glass, her hair brushed against her fingertips, a little itchy, she brushed her curly hair behind her. No matter what a beautiful woman does, every move is pleasing to the eye. The host paused, and in the headset, the director urged her to go smoothly. Thinking that the next question would embarrass Ruan Yu, she squeezed the manuscript tightly and her throat tightened. The director is still urging. The host's heart was broken. No matter how entangled his heart was, his voice was still as gentle as water. I saw the photos that went viral on the internet in the past 2 days, and I was very moved. At that time, Ruan Yu was dumbfounded when he saw our male god. Did you think it was very beautiful? Not surprisingly, the barrage was full of scolding. Those who scolded the director team, scolded the host, and scolded Ruan Yu were mixed together. In the chaos, Ruan Yu finally said, "It's pretty." Netizens were stunned, and before they had time to express their surprise, Ruan Yu seriously added, "That brooch is beautiful." Audience, so the devoted one is looking at the brooch? Who trusts the horse? Ruan Yu recalled a little, the pendant style is like a stream of water, pear-shaped diamonds are dotted sporadically on the row of round diamonds, and a round-cut ruby is wrapped in the middle, and it is matched with a white suit. Before he finished speaking, the entire audience on the internet was already stunned. Sorry. I can't help but want to believe it. Who could recount pendant styles so clearly? It is absolutely impossible to do this without looking at it 2 or 3 times infatuatedly. Ruan Yu, the white suit looks ruby red and purple, probably inspired by the red banknotes. It's beautiful. Who wouldn't love to see red banknotes, _, I even want to suggest that he put a check for hundreds of millions on his chest next time, which will be more honorable. Most of the live broadcast rooms crowded by tens of millions of netizens are people who eat melons. When they heard this explanation, they laughed like crazy. Ha ha ha, I was more infatuated than her when I saw the red banknotes. Threat infatuation for brooches of tens of millions. Let me paste it directly. Ruan Yu is restrained enough about money, Bushy, it's all an excuse, don't believe it. Protect the best. Mr. Cheng, Ruan Yu don't come to touch porcelain. One sentence made people associate Cheng Gaiwan's appearance with the red banknotes, and it didn't take long for number relying on the super high popularity of the top stream directly on the trending search, and became the material of eating melons on the whole network. Later, Cheng Gaiwan's emoji package was circulated. On the photo of the red banknote, a few words were "Ped, who is more honorable than me?" The black fan and the opponent laughed like crazy. There are top-notch jokes to watch, but who wants to watch the scandal of the third-tier star Ruan Yu? Besides, the most indispensable thing in the entertainment industry is gossip. The paparazzi can't believe what they say, but Cheng Gaiwen's funny looks are not as interesting. The live broadcast room was eerily quiet at the moment. Cheng Gaiwen's face was gloomy. The host hurriedly turned over this. Ruan Yu really knows how to joke. Now let's start the last session. Ruan Yu smiled. Well, it's a joke. Cheng Gaiwen's expression softened a little. After 3 years in the entertainment industry, Ruan Yu has subtly learned how to deal with people and how to deal with others. She should give the male protagonist what he should be given. She is too lazy to be an enemy of the protagonist, and has too many things to deal with, but just now she has to use a reason that can convince netizens to get rid of the plot of the novel. Judging from the portrayal of the male protagonist in the novel, he is not so small as to target her. Even if the male lead is suddenly OOC, it's useless to target her in the entertainment industry. She plans to announce her retirement today. The contract with the company has expired, and I had the idea of renewing the contract before, but now I just want to retire quickly and live a happy retirement life. No matter how rampant the male protagonist is, he won't be able to touch the deposit in her bank card. 4 million deposits in the bank will earn 150,000 interest every year. She yearns for a warm and slow life in the countryside, and her daily expenses are not large. This savings is enough for her to buy a house near the sea in a third-tier coastal city and start facing the sea. Spring is warm and flowers are blooming. The turbulent waves, the small single-family garden, the green grass and trees bring a fragrance, and sit on the small wooden table outside the courtyard to enjoy the breeze and sunset. Thinking of that scene, the corners of Ruan Yu's lips could not stop rising. Calm. Then there is another problem. The last link of the heirs is also the final cause of Ruan Yu's blackmail in the novel. The 5-star observers present all had to post a boring comment in their circle of friends. I have something to do, please call me. This is a big adventure game extended by the successors in the variety show who said that connections are very important. The game wants to test everyone's popularity. Within 5 minutes after posting to Moments, see if anyone calls you. If you receive a call, you must turn on the speakerphone and answer it in front of the entire network. Among the 5 people, she and the male and female protagonists both received calls. But here comes the problem. The heroine Yu Chi received a phone call from a wealthy girlfriend. This call not only exposed the noble status of the heroine, but the girlfriend also gossiped about the relationship between the heroine and the heroine on the phone, wondering how Ruan Yu would respond. Thing. CP Fan Carnival, the whole network eats melons. Damn it, it turns out that the beautiful sister comes from a wealthy family like her top class? Fuck, a man is talented and a woman is beautiful, a match made in heaven, give me a knock. Ruan Yu is what kind of stirrer, hurry up and get out. In the novel, the hero and heroine are envied by thousands of people. In contrast, she is a lot of cannon fodder as a tool person. After the heroine called, it was her turn. The call she received was also from her best friend, but the words were not pleasant. Don't wish to marry into a wealthy family, that kind of status is something you can't please, and you are begging to be on a variety show with him? What else do you have besides face? Think so is it superior? Her desire to be on the top is in stark contrast to the heroine's delicate status. There was a lot of cursing that night. It was miserable. Now, the big adventure is underway. The heroine Yu Chi received a call from her best friend. Perhaps because Ruan Yu refuted the host's love remarks just now, the male lead had no chance to express his love to the female lead, and the rich girlfriend who was watching the live broadcast didn't mention the male and female lead at all, and only said excitedly, Yu Chi, I saw Gu Fukin. I just ran into him at the airport in Country Y, and he seems to be going back to China by special plane. As soon as these words came out, the whole network was excited. Even the heroine Yu Chi couldn't help but bend her eyebrows. Are you talking about the son of the richest man during this period of variety shows? The heir has been saying how good he is. I really want to see the boss. In fact, there are ranks within the rich family. People with the status of Yu Qi and Cheng Gaiwen can probably be ranked in the upper middle, and the Gu family that Gu Fukan belongs to is undoubtedly the number 1 Marisu in Marisa City, the top of the rich family. In terms of financial resources, no one in the whole country can compete with the Gu family. In terms of ability, Gu Fu Chen is vigorous and decisive, and is the object of pursuit of all wealthy heirs. In terms of appearance, Gu Fukan kept a low profile and seldom appeared in public. When participating in financial talks, the organizer would refuse reporters to interview and take pictures because of him. The majority of people who eat melons don't know what he looks like, but judging from the news from the wealthy people, he is undoubtedly the proud son of heaven after Nu Wa's meticulous craftsmanship, and he is absolutely different from the little muddle-headed children of other wealthy families. Different. In fact, there are quite a few handsome children from wealthy families, but those who are so shameless in front of Gu Fu Chen, how handsome Gu Fu Chen himself can be. No one cared whether Yu Qi came from a wealthy family or not. The whole network focused on the 3 words Gu Fukan mentioned on the phone. Only Ruan Yu suppressed his excitement and waited for the words of leaving the circle, and then packed his luggage for an instant trip. The beach, here she comes. As for Gu Fukan, a member of the Ding Gao family who made the whole network excited, she didn't take it seriously at all. Ruan Yu doesn't think it's very lucky to be in a wealthy family. According to what she knows from the novel, no matter the hero or the heroine, after retreating back to take over the consortium later, they have meetings, social parties and business trips from morning till night. Almost exhausted them. Does working for yourself count as part-time work? It's better to learn some financial management slowly, first put the money in the bank to earn some interest, and enjoy leisure by the sea is more comfortable. While thinking, Yu Qi hung up the phone. The host smiled and asked Yu Qi, "It turns out that Yu Kai's family is also extraordinary. Can you tell us about Gu Fukan? The audience really wants to know." Yu Qi smiled and nodded. If there is a popularity ranking in the wealthy circle, the members of the Gu family are undoubtedly the upper echelons of the top circle, and the heir, Gu Fu Chen, is the most unattainable superstar in the top circle. Being able to develop a relationship with Gu Fukan will not only be praised by parents and mothers, but also envied by friends. Yu Qi smiled and said sweetly, "Gu Fukan has always been my idol, and I want to be as good as him. I was lucky enough to meet my father a few times at dinner parties. He is polite and far-sighted." The host complimented a few words along the way, and everyone present became fans of the Ding Gao family and the Gu family. Counting down the huge property of the Ding Gao family and the Gu family, with a market value of trillions, anyone who sees it will have a longing for this family and dream of squeezing in. Even if it's a housekeeper or something. I am satisfied to see their mansion as big as their manor. QAQ. The audience on the whole network thought eagerly. Ruan Yu is still thinking about what kind of flowers and plants to plant in the small detached house by the sea. The host cue her. Ruan Yu smiled politely, and met Yu Kai's slightly satisfied eyes. And Cheng Gaiwen straightened his back, and the 2 rich men exuded an unattainable pride. Ruan Yu understands. The emotions of the 2 wealthy people looking down on her are always there, especially the male protagonist, who is full of dissatisfaction and arrogance that you dare to comment on my appearance. Ruan Yu didn't care, she put her phone on the table, clasped her hands together, and when she was about to say the 7 words "I will quit the entertainment circle" devoutly, the phone vibrated. She didn't post on moments. Bow your head. The caller ID was an unfamiliar number. After hanging up with a frown, the 2 text messages sent before were displayed on the main page. It's just that she was immersed in the joy of living by the sea just now and didn't notice it. Article 1, I'm Gu Fukan. Hello, you were lost from the Gu family when you were young, you are the daughter of the Gu family who lived outside, and my younger sister. Article 2, the specific process will be discussed slowly after I return to China. The person who will pick you up is on his way. Unknown calls and text messages are the same number. The next second, the hung-up phone buzzed again. The whole network's attention is focused on her. The host reminded with a smile, you, answer the phone, remember to turn on the speakerphone. In the eyes of everyone, Ruan Yu died. Does she believe it? How can it be? Taking a step back, even if the Gu family really had a missing daughter. Suppose they suspected that it was her, but she didn't receive any request for a DNA test, and the Ding Gao family was rumored to be miraculous, would they be so stupid as to admit their daughter home without even doing a paternity test? No way. Ruan Yu hung up the phone and quickly downloaded the app of the National Anti-Fraud Center. No one should try to cheat a penny from her. After finishing all this, Ruan Yu raised her eyes, her face was filled with uncontrollable joy, her black pupils were as bright as stars. I won't participate in the last small event, by the way, I will talk about it at the end of the live broadcast of the variety show. I've decided to retire. Goodbye. Leaving this passage behind, Ruan Yu got up and left while holding the mobile phone under the dumbfounded gazes. She was wearing a starry sky blue gradient long dress, the skirt naturally hung down with a hint of slack, and there were tiny flashes of light on it, like a galaxy that had been shaken off. Ruan Yu nodded and smiled politely, and turned around gracefully with a light flick of her skirt. The silky skirt blooms in the air, like a wave in the night ocean reflecting the Milky Way. Waves and Ruan Yu's profile disappeared in front of the camera together. What is left to the majority of netizens is only her agile gait and slightly hurried back. It's not the skirt that's flirting, it's my heart, woo woo woo. One person's blood book, please don't quit the circle, I can continue to be a vase. What you can't get is always in commotion, and what you can't get is don't go. Some people who don't like Ruan Yu are embarrassed to say something disappointing at this stall after seeing her beauty. Half an hour later, number were on the trending searches. In the square, Yang howled, and the fans who had just entered the pit vertically on the airs felt like a knife was piercing their hearts. Rational passerby fans began to analyze Ruan Yu's plan after quitting the circle. Ruan Yu is only 21 years old now, and she is in the prime of her youth. With this kind of face that is forced by God to enjoy food, it is definitely not difficult to become a second tier in the entertainment industry for a few years. Her problem is that she has not been exposed. The scandal with Cheng Gaiwan a few days ago made Ruan Yu's popularity soar. No matter what kind of red it is, her popularity has been opened up, and later she will be whitewashed with her works and face. Not to mention that she was fortunate to participate in the recording of the last episode of The Heirs. The top variety shows of S&N can bring her a lot of exposure, and the rebuttals on variety shows are also funny. It's not a big deal to annoy Cheng Gaiwan and Yu Kai's top 2 fan groups. There are tens of thousands of passers-by in the entertainment circle, and there are also many passers-by who plan to enter the pit vertically. In general, it is obviously a good opportunity to express yourself and improve your reputation, but Ruan Yu announced her retirement at a key point in her career. Is she crazy? Or is there a better career waiting for her? But no matter how good a career is, it can't compare to the position of a first T-line star in the entertainment industry, right? The reason for Ruan Yu's withdrawal has become a big unsolved mystery this year. After Bai Yueguang leaves, there will always be crazy nostalgia. Just as Ruan Yu announced her retirement, her previous beautiful photos and TV dramas were turned upside down. After watching it, passers-by and fans have only one word to comment: absolutely. It's amazing. Why didn't I find this kind of beautiful and acting treasure fairy before? You call this nothing? Brain. Flower. Bottle. That night, Ruan Yu's chatter flooded in with 20,000 fans, all of whom came to miss Bai Yueguang Ruan Yu. Ruan Yu's company and agent almost died of anger when they saw all this. Before, they thought that Ruan Yu couldn't get angry and had no plans to renew her contract, but now they saw all this and their facial features turned blue with regret. Although it was unreasonable, the agent still made several phone calls to Ruan Yu with great confidence, angrily reprimanded her for her bad behavior of withdrawing from the circle without permission, and yelled together with the leader to tell her to return to the company to renew her contract. Later, when the hard ones were not enough, the soft ones came. Even if she begged her aunt to tell her grandma, she didn't get a look from Ruan Yu. At this moment, Ruan Yu, who was looking for all over the internet, was looking down at the photo, not in a very beautiful mood. She seems to be a member of the Gu family of the Ding Gao family. 10 minutes ago, after she hung up the phone and announced her withdrawal from the circle, the liar Gu Fukan did not call, but the fraud group seemed to be a gang, and not long after, she received a new call claiming to be Gu Fukan's little assistant Xia in China. Poetry. Xia Shi said that Mr. Gu was on a business trip in country Y before receiving the news about her, and now he is on his way back to his country, so he can't pick her up in person, so he can only arrange for an assistant to pick her up for Mary Su City. Not only that, Xia Shi also sent a photo of her when she was a child. About 2 years old, she should have been alone in the orphanage at that time. The message from this photo is quite different. In the courtyard, a gentlewoman sat on a small stone table in the courtyard with a rattle in her hand, holding a chubby little daughter in her arms. Zai Zai's face was twisted into a ball, and he stared angrily at the rattle in the woman's hand. He stretched his 2 little fleshy hands forward desperately, and the handsome man bent down to hug the woman and daughter. On the other side of the stone table, a 5 or 6-year-old boy was sitting properly, tilting his head and looking at Cub. Is her? It's not like her. Ruan Yu has seen photos of herself in the orphanage. At that time, she was about 2.5 years old, she was very thin, and looked timidly at the camera, without the agility and confidence in Xia Shi's photos. It doesn't matter, the important thing is what it means to be a wealthy family. Although her awakening novel is a novel about the entertainment industry, it has many descriptions of wealthy families. It is a forced choice for the heroine and heroine to enter the entertainment industry. The male protagonist has an older sister, and the female protagonist has an older brother. The older sister and the older brother are the legitimate heirs. The two of them can only divide the family property with their status as wealthy families, and the power is never in their hands. Generally speaking, heirs without inheritance rights will start a business or develop their careers through other channels. The heroine and the heroine choose to enter the entertainment industry, and later become top-notch and secretly develop their family business. They will start a tearful drama of competing with their elder brother and sister for the right to inherit, and finally the two succeed in the happy ending. Generally speaking, the protagonist will eventually become the strongest in the world. The Gu family, the top wealthy family, is an obstacle that the protagonist cannot overcome. It is probably because the author described the family as too powerful in the early stage, and did not know how to solve it later, so he simply described the Gu family with the top wealthy Gu family fought for 10 years, and finally fell apart. Ending. When Ruan Yu thought of this sentence, her scalp tingled. 10 years, fighting for a full 10 years. How is this different from the ancient princes fighting for the throne and concubines fighting for the throne? Thinking about it carefully, how many concubines and princes can survive safely in the end? Shivering.jpg Ruan Yu understood. She managed to withdraw from the circle and jumped out of the pit of the novel's plot, and now she was dragged into another even bigger pit by the family. She likes money, but if money will bring countless troubles, Ruan Yu will not be happy. Just like if you don't announce your retirement today, it will be very good if you continue to develop your career with another company, but Ruan Yu didn't do that. In the circle, it means that the plot is not out of the plot, and the plot is tantamount to trouble. But she only wants love and peace. Retirees shouldn't have so much trouble. Xia Shi called again. Miss Ruan, have you seen the photo? Mr. Gu has seen your photo in the orphanage and is sure that you are the lost young daughter of the Gu family. Ruan Yu's attention is not on this. Have you ever been to an orphanage? Yes, Miss Ruan. Xia Shi said politely, Miss Ruan, can I prepare a car to take you home now? Ruan Yu paused for a while, then rubbed her eyebrows and said in a heavy tone, do I have to go back? Xiaoxi didn't expect to encounter such a problem, so she remained silent with a serious expression. Well, Miss Ruan was much calmer than she imagined. It is embarrassing to say that Xiaoxi was excited for half an hour when she received the news of take Miss Ruan home. Go home. Looking back at home. Back to the Gu family who proudly built a manor in Meisu City, where every inch of land is expensive. As an outsider, she couldn't help but want to accompany Ruan Yu back to observe the legendary manor with excitement, but Ruan Yu, an insider, can be so calm. Fortunately, people from the Ding Gao family have all seen big scenes. The family's Versailles temperament of not being surprised by money flows in the blood. The real purpose of seeing Cheng Gaiwen's 10 million pendant should be to express disdain for his behavior of showing off the pendant, but even if she was misunderstood, she didn't say much bad about Cheng Gaiwen in the variety show. She is really so kind, so noble. I cry to death. After brainstorming, Xiaoxi seemed to set up the label Ruan Yu is so sacred in her heart. No matter what, the task arranged by Mr. Gu must be completed. Miss Ruan, I can't decide on this kind of thing. How about you go back to the manor today, and when Mr. Gu arrives tomorrow morning, you can talk to him in person and express your appeal, and Mr. Gu will agree. It doesn't matter if you don't like it, just stay for one night. At the end, Xiaoxi added another sentence. Xiaoxi actually thinks that no one in this world would dislike the manor, but the eldest lady Ruan Yu, who has the blood of the Ding Gao family, would. She is the Saint Ruan Yu. Adhering to the good principle of not embarrassing the workers, Ruan Yu agreed. She has a good impression of Xiaoxi, and she speaks politely, but her attitude is even better after she implicitly refuses. It's just that sending her home so late should be considered overtime, right? Thinking about it from the perspective of a worker, it seems a bit miserable. On the other side of the phone, Xiaoxi was so excited that she was about to jump up. Mao Mao, your master is promising. She is also someone who has entered a mansion. I've seen it, it's hers, bushy, but no matter what, there must be material for dreaming tonight. When going out to prepare the car, Xiaoxi thought of something, and hurriedly sent a text message asking, Miss Ruan, do you have any requirements for the car? Simpler okay, Miss Ruan. Looking back at Mr. Gu's original plan when he personally picked up Miss Ruan, Xiaoxi Shang let out a sigh of relief and kept it simple. The simple point in the mouth of Ding Gao family. Got it. The place where the heirs was recorded was in Luoyang City, only an hour and a half drive from Meisu City. When Ruan Yu left the recording site at 4 o'clock, she returned to the hotel to pack her things, and after a short rest, she waited for Xiaoxi on the first floor of the hotel. In early autumn, I don't know when it will rain lightly and the breeze will blow. The long skirt she wore during the indoor recording had been replaced. She was wearing an ivory sweater, her hair was tied into a high ponytail, and she had no makeup on her plain white face. Ruan Yu glanced at the trending searches just now, and found that her photo was on the trending search list. She furrowed her pretty eyebrows, took out a black mask from her tasseled bag, and put it on. The hotel is located next to the film and television city, and there happened to be a crew filming here. Ruan Yu kindly took the luggage and walked to the door to wait, leaving the sofa area for them. The waiting time is always extremely long. Ruan Yu looked at the shooting scene inside through the glass door. It seems to be a tyrant's sweet pet drama, which is being staged to the plot of a man chasing a woman. She runs away from him, but she can't fly. Ruan Yu didn't catch a cold, she retracted her head and continued to wait. After waiting for about 5 minutes, before Xiaoxi arrived, the manager rushed over in a rage, glanced at the scene in the hall, and angrily said in a low voice, "What's the matter with you? How many people want to enter the entertainment industry but have no chance, and you can't go down the ladder? In the entertainment industry, you have the opportunity to wear high-end gowns, walk the red carpet, be sought after by others, and earn a lot of money. If you don't want to stay in such a good place, what do you think about leaving the industry?" Your head was bitten by a dog? After leaving the industry, what a good day you can have. Ruan Yu, there is surveillance at the door, I suggest you speak politely. Also, you're blocking my way. The manager was at a loss for words, took 2 steps back suppressing his anger, and said angrily, don't blame me for not reminding you, you will regret it sooner or later. When he left angrily, the manager caught a glimpse of a car approaching in the distance from the corner of his eye, and said with a sneer, nowadays, all the cars used in filming dramas use this kind of luxury car, and only those who dominate dramas can enjoy it. If you have the opportunity to sit around, after quitting the circle, you will squeeze the bus and the subway every day, I think you have nothing to worry about. Putting this down, the manager waited for Ruan Yu to beg him. The imagined plot did not happen, but the Maybach MPV business car, the extended Rolls-Royce Phantom and another 7-seater Maybach MPV business car, the 3 luxury cars parked steadily at the entrance of the hotel. After a while, the 2 bodyguards in black got off the car, and Xiaoxi trotted up to Ruan Yu holding an umbrella. Behind them, the 2 bodyguards in black spread a long waterproof black blanket at the entrance of the hotel. The soft texture is different from the waterproof carpets on the market, and it is worth a lot of money just by looking at it. Sorry Miss Ruan, I'm late. It's raining, be careful to get your shoes wet, you go this way. Ruan Yu silently glanced at her running shoes, and couldn't help but feel aggrieved by the carpet. The manager's face was ashen. When the filming crew saw this scene, Chi was stunned, this horse riding is called BA Zone. Look back at the TV series they filmed. It's all texture. Xiaoxi's eyes sparkled, Miss Ruan, are you still satisfied? Ruan Yu suddenly remembered the inquiry Xiaoxi sent not long ago. Miss Ruan, do you have any requirements for the car? Simpler. Ruan Yu. You call this simple? Sure, this can be called easy? It was rainy and hazy. The black waterproof blanket that winds down the stairs covers the entrance of the hotel, and 3 luxury cars are parked at the end. Passers-by stop and look at it secretly from a long distance. The agent's head was rusty, and he no longer had the ability to think at all. He tried his best to reduce the sense of existence and shrunk to the corner, his whole body was stiff, and his face was burning with pain. Uncles! How could Ruan Yu have such a shocking scene? Did you rent it for money? But even if it was rent, he didn't dare to act presumptuously in front of the 4 burly men. Xiaoxi stood aside, smiling politely at Ruan Yu. She and the 4 bodyguards were the most comfortable in the audience. In the hotel, the female celebrity who was surrounded by a circle of people looked over eagerly, her eyes shone with the excitement of rich woman, hungry, sticky. Sensing the increase in the crowd of onlookers, Ruan Yu couldn't say anything more, so she stepped on the black waterproof pad. The bodyguard in black respectfully opened the door of the extended Rolls-Royce Phantom for her. Needless to say, the interior of the car is spacious, and the floor mats are as soft as stepping on cotton. The calfskin on the rear seats feels delicate and smooth, making it comfortable and soft to sit on. Every detail in the car is well done, and it lives up to its expensive price. Even the roof is fantastic. Looking up is a romantic starry sky. At 6 o'clock in early autumn, the sky has dimmed, and there are no stars outside the window. Xiaoxi turned up the brightness of the panel on the roof, and the starry sky appeared, as if sitting in a Milky Way and traveling forward. Ruan Yu understands why wealthy families fight to the death for the right to inherit. Who would not love this unique enjoyment of luxury and luxury? After a brief enjoyment, Ruan Yu gradually calmed down. Staying in a wealthy family, even if she has no intention of fighting for power, she will be inadvertently dragged into the vortex of fighting for inheritance. People walk by the river without getting their shoes wet. In the novel, her uncle and aunt are not easy to provoke, and their children will also join in the infighting drama. But in the end it was all solved by Gu Fukan. The Gu Fukan described in the novel is decisive in killing and attacking and attaches great importance to power. The author almost wrote him as a big villain. Later, he probably felt that the male lead Cheng Gu could not beat him, so Gu Fukin directly became the background board. Just now she hung up his phone recklessly. It's the thriller of the year. At the same time, Gu Fukin, who was considered by his sister to be the big devil, was sitting on the private plane returning to China. His brows were furrowed and his expression was stern. The meals on the wooden table were not moved at all. The atmosphere in the entertainment suite was so heavy that Assistant Chen at the side didn't dare to take a breath. The last time Mr. Gu was so serious was because of a mistake in the cooperation with the international watch group Rufeng a year ago, which almost affected the further expansion of Gu's Bazan Group in foreign markets, resulting in a loss of tens of billions. But in the end, Mr. Gu resolved all the crises perfectly. In Assistant Chen's eyes, Gu Fukin is omnipotent, and nothing in this world can stump him. Gu Fukin is now uncharacteristically, with a look of embarrassment on his face. Assistant Chen was a little flustered. Amid all kinds of anxiety, he wished he could rush out and ask the special assistant who was waiting for news solemnly in the conference room. 10 minutes ago, Mr. Gu asked his special assistant to wait for news. Keeping this state for a full 10 minutes, how many billions of projects have been lost can make him so serious? Assistant Chen's whole body was tense, and he was extremely careful even in the way he swallowed his saliva. Okay. Okay. Outside the small window, a vast red glow appeared, turning half of the sky red, and the scenery was too beautiful to behold. It's a pity that no one watched it, and no one cared about it. In the suite, there was only the sound of the vibrating wings. A video call between him and his friend Fu Jiazan was broadcast on the high-definition TV 2 meters away from Gu Fukin. The heirs of the two Ding Gao families quietly waited for a news. Realizing this, Assistant Chen's legs went limp. Hold! Cut the mess quickly, no matter how big the storm is, let's talk about it quickly. Please. Probably the special assistant heard his inner thoughts, and a minute later, Special Assistant Song knocked on the door and entered. Gu Fukin straightened up, raised his hand to take the thin thing that could not be called a document from Song Ti's assistant, and looked at it very seriously. Assistant Chen. It's time to talk. It's time for all the attention, tension, and death. Just when Assistant Chen thought that the special assistant was going to say that Gu's lost thousands of small targets, this time Song Taehu smiled. Mr. Gu, Miss likes tonight's arrangement very much. She praised the phantom starry sky top twice for its beauty. Assistant Chen was stunned. No. Isn't it about losing money? Rolls X is really good, communicate with them and customize one for my sister. Gu Fu Chen praised. In the future, I will replace the commonly used car at home with this one. Let the domestic helpers also feel the taste and hobbies of the younger sister. Oh, let's change his car to this one too. Brother and sister, he deserves it. Assistant Chen? The last time he was on a business trip to DB, Mr. Gu saw dozens of Lexus on the street, and said lightly that this car was only liked by grown-up kids like his little nephew. Why did he fall in love with it now? He thought that the company was going to face an epic problem like almost bankruptcy, and it took a long time. This? Assistant Chen of Shiwa was pushed away by Song Ti. Walking into the conference room, Assistant Chen still couldn't digest everything he had just experienced, and turned his head to ask, President Gu, he must be a sister-in-law, right? Song Wen paused and glanced at him. Assistant Chen's heart trembled. Forgot, wealthy people don't like others to inquire about their gossip. Just as he was about to apologize, Song Wen said seriously, Assistant Chen, your wording needs to be more rigorous. Assistant Chen, hi? Mr. Gu is not a sister-in-law, he is a sister-in-law. The younger sister is in front of Gu Fukin, and they are all entry-level sprinklers. This is thanks to Mr. Gu and Mrs. Gu's devil-style training since childhood. Since the young lady was lost, the two of them have brainwashed Gu Fukin every day, telling her how miserable her sister will be. If she finds her sister, she must be good to her. For more than 10 years every day. Gu Fukan will go crazy, and no one in the Gu family is innocent. Assistant Chen. It seems that some great secret has been discovered. In the entertainment suite, Gu Fukan sipped his red wine in satisfaction. Gu Fukan has perfect bones, slightly sunken eyebrows, long and narrow eyes with deep eyes, a straight nose, and three-dimensional and deep facial features, which is the standard appearance of a boss. The curvature of the jawline is perfect and smooth, and the dense and long eyelashes weaken the sense of alienation from above. When she blinks lightly, there is inadvertent softness. At this moment, the corners of her lips are slightly raised, and her tone is a little proud. Now you are the only one without a sister. In the video, Fu Jiazan added lightly, Ruan Yu likes the high cold type. Gu Fukan's smile faded a little, shut up, you're just jealous. When it comes to President Gao Lang Ba, Gu Fukan is upset. After getting news about his younger sister Ruan Yu this morning, he quickly asked people to search for her related news and interviews, watched it for 5 or 6 hours without blinking, and finally came to a conclusion, my younger sister likes the cold and paralyzed type. After the filming of Family was finished, Ruan Yu was asked what kind of brother do you like in an interview. Her answer was, it's just as good as in the movie. And in the movie, he just happens to be the type with a cold face and a domineering face. Gu Fukan felt very bitter. Since he was a child, he has a lively personality. His father, Gu Yuqian, thinks that this is not suitable for those in positions of power. He cannot restrain shareholders and high-level executives. He should keep a low profile, talk less and be polite when he is outside. In order to be able to talk more in front of friends, Bushi in order to show the low profile of the Ding Gao family, Gu Fuchen rarely appeared in public. Gradually there were rumors that he was an indifferent boss. If only he was the real boss. Very sad. JPG The younger sister likes the bossy brother, of course he wants to give the younger sister a supreme family experience. His younger sister, Gu family Rong Guang. Whatever should be the best. If you're not the overlord, then pretend. It is also beneficial for him to deter the group of shareholders and executives. Acting, trivial. He will be the Oscar statuette for another 2 years. Gu Chongmei is invincible. Ruan Yu's #1 brain-dead fan Fu Chen thinks so. Unfriendly to hang up the video call with his friend, Gu Fukan went back to the bedroom to rest, hoping to meet his sister in the best condition tomorrow morning. The first rule of an excellent brother, initial impressions matter. When Ruan Yu arrived in Marisa City, it was completely dark. It was dark at night, and there were only faint yellow street lights on the side of the road. Ruan Yu leaned on the headrest, and after driving for a certain distance, the speed of the car slowly slowed down. Xia Shi, who was sitting in the co-pilot, was wearing a Bluetooth headset, and while answering the phone call from the manor housekeeper, she said to Ruan Yu, Miss Ruan, we are almost there. Ruan Yu rubbed her eyes sleepily, and looked out the car window lazily. There were still faint yellow street lights, and the trees on both sides obviously increased. After driving all the way for an unknown amount of time, the car in front turned a corner. Ruan Yu cheered up a little. I don't know if it was designed on purpose, but this row of trees is dense and towering into the sky, and after turning a corner, the field of vision is completely widened. Lights flicker, from dark to bright. After passing through the wrought iron gate, the car drove another few hundred meters. The lights like fireworks exploded from a distance, and then the lights of thousands of families were lit, and the fireworks were just like that. The grass and trees are exquisitely trimmed, and a small turn is made, entering the dense ginkgo trail. The wind blows the fallen leaves and dances, which is a beautiful scene in the movie. After driving for another distance, I finally saw the endless stretches of brightly lit Western-style buildings from a long distance away. Xia Shi stared dumbfounded at everything that unfolded in front of her eyes. Where do people live here? No. Is this a place where people can live? Shouldn't a small window be set up outside the wrought iron gate as a scenic spot to give people who dream at night like her more dream material? Just as Ruan Yu got out of the car, the delicate and capable young woman opened the car door with a smile, and said in a correct voice, "Welcome miss, come home. I am your personal butler Wei Wen, and this is Song Gushu, the old housekeeper of the Gu residence." Song Gushu is 50 years old this year. The meticulous black suit adds a bit of wisdom to the old man, and his voice is old and powerful, "Miss." After the serious old man said these 3 words, his eyes suddenly felt a little wet and hot. "This is your home." Ruan Yu paused. It can be seen that the butler should have missed her a lot in the past 20 years, but when he said these 5 words with affection, Ruan Yu still couldn't resonate. She couldn't believe that this mansion, which could be used to make aristocratic movies, would be her home. "Butler Song, Mr. Gu and Mrs. Gu are not at home for the time being. Mr. Gu Xiao is on his way back. He will be home at 2 o'clock in the morning. You can rest well tonight. If you are not satisfied, you can come to me or Wei Wen." Ruan Yu nodded like a chicken pecking rice. Satisfied, satisfied. The only dissatisfaction is probably, I will definitely have to walk a lot to get to her room later. At once. Quite tired. Not suitable for her kind of sports waste. It was getting late. Wei Wen didn't take Ruan Yu to visit the manor. After a brief handover with Xiaoxi, he respectfully led Ruan Yu back to her room. After walking through several corridors and taking an elevator, she finally arrived at her room. Along the way, Ruan Yu always kept an attitude of not looking at the surrounding objects and only walking towards the room. It's not that she doesn't want to. She is afraid. As the saying goes, luxury and money dazzle people's eyes. Ruan Yu asked herself that her personal character is not so noble. If she saw antique calligraphy and paintings that can only be seen in history books on the wall or in the corner, she would really go crazy and sink into this money-worshipping life that everyone despises. Inside. After returning to the room, Ruan Yu suppressed her curiosity as much as possible, washed up quickly and fell asleep in the room. She is very tired. Awakening novel memories during the day made her consume a lot of brain power, and she saw so many things beyond her ordinary life. She was exhausted both mentally and physically, and she just wanted to fall on the bed and get enough sleep. The bed was too soft, she closed her eyes and rolled several times on the bed, and fell asleep in a daze. When I woke up again, the room was still dark. There are sporadic lights emerging from outside the curtains. The big bed was leaning against the curtains. Ruan Yu got up sleepily, opened the curtains and took a look in a daze. Sober up instantly. Her room is on the 7th floor. The blue lake in the distance reflects the Western-style buildings, and near the Western-style buildings is a row of green bamboos in the ripples of the water. Both the sense of atmosphere and the beauty of white space. The row of ginkgo trees she saw last night was far away, perfectly separating the 2 low buildings in the distance. The buildings were intertwined with golden yellow, which was a rare bright color in this manor. For local tyrants, it is very simple to buy a large manor, and it is also very simple to put some miscellaneous items in the manor, such as sports fields and golf courses. But it is very difficult to make everything come together beautifully. Ruan Yu forced herself to regain consciousness. Can't fall. She came here only to clarify her future thoughts with the big devil in the novel and her real brother. Ruan Yu grew up in an orphanage and experienced 2 adoptions that ended without a problem. Among them, she was abandoned once. She has no feeling for that warm and loving family relationship in the eyes of others. She is used to celibacy. She has seen the prosperity of the entertainment industry, and the extraordinary Ding Gao family. In the final analysis, it seems that living in a small detached house by the sea is more suitable for her. After making up her mind, Ruan Yu glanced at the wall clock next to her. 10:30. She can really sleep. However, the life of being undisturbed while sleeping is really comfortable. Retirement starts today. Ruan Yu was only wearing pajamas, her suitcase was not with her, and she didn't know where the cloakroom was. She vaguely remembered that Wei Wen said she woke up last night and rang the bell to call her. Wei Wen came quickly. Almost as soon as she pressed the button, Wei Wen knocked on the door and entered. Maybe it was waiting at the door for her to wake up? Ruan Yu was a little embarrassed, her voice sounded soft after waking up. I'm sorry, I woke up too late. Wei Wen smiled politely, Miss, you don't have to apologize to anyone. What time you sleep until is your private matter, and I have no right to interfere. She is so polite that she even welcomes Ruan Yu to sleep again. It is completely different from the big dramas Ruan Yu has seen, where the rich and powerful families are fighting each other and the domestic servants are divided into factions. In Chuangwen's novel, there is no mentally handicapped plot where the real daughter who wanders outside is ridiculed by the housekeeper after returning to the family. Maybe this is the quality that a butler of the Ding Gao family should have. Ruan Yu is very happy. Mr. Gu Xiao is waiting for you in the restaurant, would you like to wash and change? Ruan Yu nodded. Where are the clothes? Wei Wen, wait a moment. She took out the tablet and tapped it twice, then stepped forward and handed the tablet with both hands. Ruan Yu took it with a confused look. 3 seconds later, the opposite side of the bed. On the 8-meter-long informatory wall, the pale pink curtain shrank to the sides, revealing a giant curtain that was as long and wide as the wall. The giant screen showed a cloakroom of at least several hundred square meters. Various brands of clothes, high-heeled shoes, jewelry, watches, necklaces, hats, and other accessories occupy a small half of the cloakroom. I'm very sorry, miss. After learning about your brand and design preferences, I hurriedly purchased 60 sets of ready-to-season clothes. There are also some haute couture and dresses on your left. If you don't like them, I will change them immediately. We will relay your preferences to the designer as soon as possible. Wei Wen looked guilty, as if it was a wrong thing for Ruan Yu to wear luxury brand ready-to-wear. Miss, you can swipe on the tablet, click into the window, and zoom in to choose the clothes, shoes, jewelry, glasses, and other accessories you want to travel today. If it is troublesome, you can also click the button at the bottom. There are 4 major designs on it. The teacher will match the shape for you. Ruan Yu. Wei Wen must be a loyal fan of Shining X Warm. You can also save the shape and change it with one click. Outrageous. But there is a bit of liking in the outrageous, this kind of life, who can not love it? It's a pity that Ruan Yu didn't have time to play the luxury version of the dress-up game, so she quickly chose the clothes, and her brother Gu Fu Chen was still waiting for her downstairs. Turn left to exit the room, and in the small living room at the end of the corridor on the 7th floor, you can see a very spectacular ink painting of rivers and mountains. Ruan Yu slowed down and went through it in her mind. It is confirmed that this is the 200 million ink painting that was bought by a rich man at a foreign auction some time ago. At that time, all the hot searches were discussing the whereabouts of ink paintings. Did not expect. Put this as a decoration. It is indeed much better looking than the 50 yuan fake painting she bought on a certain treasure. After the stimulation last night, Ruan Yu had a preliminary understanding of the extraordinary in the family. I recited the great compassion mantra silently several times in my heart, calmed down, and calmly followed Wei Wen down the 2nd floor by elevator. Wei Wen was overwhelmed with admiration. I had a brief exchange with Xiaoxi last night. Xiaoxi said that the little lady is very sacred, but she didn't know what that meant at the time. I understand now. Last night, when she took the young lady back to the room, the young lady walked calmly, with a calm expression, and did not stop at the priceless decorations, as if it was an ordinary Chinese cabbage. Now, there are only a few ink paintings worth 200 million. After looking at it twice, he calmly commented, looking at this painting up close, it's really good. The indifferent temperament of don't care about money exuding from the whole body is simply extraordinary and refined. Who can stand this? Wei Wen posted on Weibo that night, my employer is a goddess, She is so charming. When Ruan Yu arrived at the restaurant at home, Gu Fukin was explaining work matters to his assistant. Out of the corner of his eye, he caught sight of his sister's footsteps. Gu Fukin put down the documents, stroking the diamond cuffs on the suit with his knuckle hands, and said softly, "Sit." The well-tailored black velvet suit gave him a little more poise, giving him a domineering demeanor. Ruan Yu didn't suspect him, so she sat down obediently. While quietly looking at it, she sighed secretly. Everything said in the gossip entertainment forum is true. Gu Fukin's face is very different from that of male stars in the entertainment industry. This face, this heavenly temperament, this casual and indifferent aristocratic air, has more than 10 million fans within minutes of his debut, and it is difficult to find male replacements. She could already imagine a sensational scene where fans were yelling on Weibo, begging him to post photos and videos. Song Wen, the special assistant, sorted out the documents. Mr. Gu Linzi stayed on the island for 8 months and complained all day long. Please let me ask you when I can let him come back. He should have realized his mistake. He has been obediently staying there for 3 months, staying at home all day, never going out of the door, studying sincerely, not daring to come into contact with dubious people, and sitting down if he couldn't bear it anymore. Relaxing on the cruise. He is walking towards the qualities that the heir to a wealthy family should have. Ruan Yu raised her eyes, and there was a strange light in her watery eyes. If you don't want to be an heir, well, you will be dispatched to the island to suffer. Taking a cruise to relax is just an unbearable choice. Give her this punishment. She likes. It is 10,000 times more comfortable than her small detached house by the sea. Gu Fuchen saved the long speech he wanted to say, and finally dropped 4 words coldly, "It shouldn't be." Song Wen understood, nodded slightly to Ruan Yu, and walked away quickly. Long before Ruan Yu came, Gu Fuchen asked people to remove the long dining table that accommodated more than 20 people, and only a small square table for 4 people about 1 square meter was placed in the Beiping restaurant. So empty that she thought she was eating on an airplane parking lot. Very insecure. Sitting opposite Gu Fukin, Ruan Yu couldn't help but say, "The dining table has always been like this. Is it small and delicate?" She can see her brother as soon as she looks up, and the close relationship makes her a little uncomfortable. Gu Fukin paused for a moment. If it's too small, change it to a bigger one. It cannot exceed 2 square meters. No matter how far away, there is no way to feed my sister. Ruan Yu wanted to respond smoothly, and her mind regained consciousness for a moment. No, I have something to tell you. Gu Fukin put down the milk glass, clasped his hands together. Say it. Ruan Yu thought for a while, and said solemnly, "I don't really want to live here. Let her live here and be involved in the plot of the novel, and being dragged into the whirlpool would be better than rolling to the beach with her luggage for vacation." Ruan Yu lost all sense of expectation for family affection after experiencing 2 unharmonious family relationships. It's not good to throw out the feeling of being twisted into a ball by them and thrown back. Being bound by family affection is a terrible thing. To be honest, when I saw Gu Fukin, Ruan Yu only had 2 labels for him: the older brother in blood, the vigorous and resolute boss in the novel, who holds the power of life and death for many people. Nothing else. There is no excitement or warm brother-sister relationship, only anxiety when facing a strange brother. Gu Fukin was stunned. A place not to your liking. The Gu family has multiple properties. If you like, you can choose one at will, and we will move in. It's not because of the house. Ruan Yu bowed her head, not knowing how to explain. Gu Fukin stared at his sister's hair, lost in thought. Ruan just came home, and she doesn't have a deep relationship with him, so it's understandable that she doesn't want to live here. It's not a problem. If you don't have feelings, you can create opportunities to deepen your feelings. People like Liu Jin can be called 3 good brothers. He has no reason to lose to others. Now the question is, how to delay time, create opportunities, and wait for dad to come back from recuperation. Gu Fu Chen was extremely considerate. Can you stay with your parents for a while? They should return to China in half a month. It takes about that long to recover after surgery. When it comes to parents, Ruan Yu doesn't know what to say. Gu Fukan, they are very busy and may not be able to make video calls temporarily. To be precise, it is impossible. When he made a video call in the morning, Gu's father was still weak, and no one could heal the post-operative trauma, so he could only recuperate slowly. Here's their picture, their gift to you. Ruan Yu nodded and took it. It is a photo of two people when they were young, with a baby in their arms. The corners of the photo are dark yellow with age, but they are well preserved. But are you free? How could a boss who regards inheritance as so important have time to have breakfast with her? Gu Fukan, I work efficiently. There is indescribable pride in the casual words. Ruan Yu took a sip of milk. You mean they are very inefficient abroad? No, no, I didn't say that. Gu Fukan didn't dare to provoke his parents. When he got nervous, he completely forgot about the tyrant boss, like a big dog with teeth and claws. Recalling the episode just now, Gu Fukan was silent for a long time. Without blushing and heartbeat, he said in a low voice, "Forget about this episode." Ruan Yu suppressed a smile and nodded solemnly. It's cute when my brother loses his temper. The dining table was quiet, and the two of them ate their breakfast seriously. To be precise, breakfast and lunch. It is already 11 o'clock. Gu Fu Chen has always maintained a good habit of eating and sleeping without talking, and it is the same when eating with his parents, but today, he really wants to talk to Ruan Yu. Although Ruan Yu sat very close to him and could touch her head with his hand, Gu Fu Chen always had a slight panic that she would leave at any time. Gu Fu Chen casually started to look for topics. Have you quit the circle? Ruan Yu, who was buried in cooking, swallowed the soft pastry and replied in a low voice, yes. Eating too much, I have no strength to speak QAQ. It's tiring to say one more word. Gu Fu Chen frowned. Follow-up matters for retiring from the circle. Ruan Yu pondered for a long time with her muddy mind. Seeing Gu Fukan's dissatisfied and gloomy expression, her heart trembled. Gu Fukan in the novel doesn't like others to make trouble for him, and all his energy should be used to stabilize the inheritance rights and develop Bazan Group. No, I'll take care of it myself. Ruan Yu buried her head and continued to eat, her big bright eyes raised to glance at him from time to time. Observation in the dark. JPG The wealthy are really not easy to mix. The moods of the bosses are changing, and they finally understand why there is a saying that accompanying a king is like accompanying a tiger. Gu Fukan's dark eyes were bottomless, staring at Ruan Yu, who was sipping milk for a long time, falling into the abyss, filled with emotions. Ruan Yu left quickly after breakfast and lunch, for fear that Gu Fu Chen would find her troublesome. After leaving the restaurant, Wei Wen quickly followed. Miss, do you want to go out? Meet someone? In the novel, it was written that her best friend called her in the live broadcast room with tens of millions of people, questioning her character, and insinuating that she seduced the superior, which directly caused her dismal ending of being blacked out all over the internet. And Ruan Yu only has one best friend, Liu Ming. They have been playmates who have talked about everything since elementary school, and they were admitted to the same school in college. Both of them are finance majors, and they often attend classes together. Later, Ruan Yu was discovered by scouts and entered the entertainment industry, and the frequency of chatting between the two has not decreased. It can be said that after 3 years in the entertainment industry, Liu Ming has always encouraged and supported her unconditionally. When her new movie was released, Liu Ming invited the whole class to watch the movie, and posted Weibo to praise her, computer and login to contribute to her playback volume. Behind Ruan Yu, there is always a backing called Liu Ming. Such a backing will never hurt her. Maybe just like she was rumored to like the hero Cheng Gaiwan, everything is caused by the master of the plot. Wei Wen, All right Miss Ruan, I'm going to prepare the car now. Ruan Yu nodded, and paused for a few seconds to stop her. I will drive by myself, don't follow. Wei Wen was in trouble. Miss, we must send bodyguards to protect your safety. If you don't like being followed, can you keep a distance of more than 10 meters from you after getting off the car? Don't make them wear black suits. Wei Wen, okay. Ruan Yu had to sigh. Try to be as low-key as possible, although the family's low-key is completely different from what she understands, but it's the same as I said yesterday, wouldn't it be against the sky if I didn't say it? Never scare the deer. Miss, are you in a hurry? If it's convenient, I'll take you to the garage, and you can choose it yourself. Ruan Yu is very satisfied with this suggestion. She can't go wrong with her personal choice. The so-called garage is actually more like a luxury parking lot. Dozens of luxury cars and supercars are neatly parked, and at a glance they belong to her family. This feeling is a bit irritating. Ruan Yu didn't know much about cars, and most of the brands were unknown. Wei Wen followed her and explained, this is Mr. Gu Xiao's favorite car, Alfa Romeo 4C. From the color and body curve, you know that the price is not cheap. Direct pass. Ruan Yu looked for the license plate logo she was familiar with, 4 circles, 3 pointed star, and blue and white letters. In the areas that Wei Wen mentioned, she only saw My X He, Bin X, and Lumbo XNI. And the Phantom that picked her up yesterday didn't have the brand she was familiar with. When she caught a glimpse of a golden car from the corner of her eye, Ruan Yu paused. In the corner of the garage, a golden supercar was parked there. Wei Wen, Mr. Gu likes gold very much. He bought this pure gold cloth X Diwalong. My wife thinks it is too ostentatious, so I asked the housekeeper to lock it here, and Mr. Gu is not allowed to drive it. Ruan Yu. Her father's preferences are really flamboyant and unique. A sports car with a solid gold exterior, crazy? Miss, do you want to drive? Wei Wen said respectfully, as long as it's you, you can drive any car you want. In this family, no one is more important than little miss. Ruan Yu took a long breath, no need. After searching for a long time, she finally saw 4 familiar circles in the corner. Moved to tears. After checking on the internet, it was determined that only 1 million, and it was designated with lightning speed. When going out, Ruan Yu asked Wei Wen, will you follow? If you need it, then follow along. Wei Wen is someone she is more familiar with. At the same time, Gu Fukan in the restaurant was still in mixed feelings. A simple breakfast made a huge difference in his view of his sister. Ruan was so young and forced to quit the industry, which shows how deep the water in the entertainment industry is. When she mentioned the entertainment industry just now, she didn't pretend to be weak in her voice, and she didn't wake up until noon today. She must have suffered from insomnia for a long time last night, and she silently endured the pressure from all parties in the dark until dawn. He has experienced this pain. All kinds of breakdowns weighed on his heart and he couldn't sleep, but when he wanted to help Ruan still chose to face the difficulties and insisted on handling everything by himself. She really. After saying that she wanted to solve it by herself, Ruan still secretly looked at him, her watery eyes were full of sincerity, afraid that he would worry. She ate so many breakfasts, and pretended that everything was fine. My sister has done so much, all for this family. Gu Fukan had a sore nose for the first time. My sister Wowtat, my younger sister can't be a pitiful little grievance. Our Ruan Yu is the glory of the Gu family and should be a fearless little princess. Gu Fukan has a whole set of plans planned in his mind. Hearing that Ruan Yu was going out, Gu Fukan thought of the documents that had not been signed for Ruan Yu, and asked the old housekeeper to call Wei Wen over. Mr. Gu Xiao. Wei Wen said respectfully. Gu Fu Chen, give these to Ruan. A thick stack of documents. It's all transfer agreements of movable and immovable properties, and it's accurate to which jewel and which blue diamond. Wei Wen thought for a while, and was a little embarrassed. Mr. Gu Xiao, I don't think the young lady would want to sign these. It would be better for you to talk to her in person. Gu Fukan. After my observation, the little lady is a very sacred person. She doesn't like money. Gu Fu Chen. Gu Fu Chen's whole body tensed up. Besides money, what else can he give his sister? The restaurant was quiet for a long time. Wei Wen noticed Mr. Gu Xiao's strangeness, so she didn't dare to say more. When she was anxious to go out with Ruan Yu, Gu Fukan handed the document and a black card to her at the same time. Gu Fukan said solemnly, must make Ruan fall in love with Qian. Wei Wen, okay, okay. She understands. This is the only way for the Gu family to keep Miss Fairy. As Wei Wen expected, Ruan Yu very calmly rejected the tens of billions of asset transfer agreement. Ruan Yu was expressionless. She didn't expect to receive this kind of hot potato the next day when she returned home. Ruan Yu likes money. But she is afraid of trouble. Accepting this asset means that she is truly tied to the Ding Gao family. Whether it is the struggle for inheritance rights in the novel, or the crisis brought about by a potential uncle, aunt, etc., it is not what a troublesome person like her wants to encounter. In addition to being afraid of trouble, there is a deeper reason. Ruan Yu hasn't really integrated into the family yet, so she can't persuade herself to accept this ill-gotten wealth. It would be better for me to sign a document refusing to accept the gift of property. Ruan Yu said softly. This can be regarded as directly expressing her attitude of not wanting to compete for family property with the overbearing elder brother who cares about power. Gu Fu Chen is happy working for the group, she is happy salted fish. A true Tuowei joy. Wei Wen was about to cry. Mr. Gu Xiao asked her to try her best to lead the little miss into the bad habit of worshipping money, but the little miss was not moved at all. Suppressing the pain in her heart, Wei Wen still maintained a polite smile on her face. Miss, then you accept this black card? You can use it to buy products around the world. In addition to purchasing hundreds of millions of real estate or sports cars, ships, etc., Mr. Gu Xiao is preparing for the little lady. What worries him is not the product, but how to send these things out. Documents and black cards, no matter what, you have to send a copy, so that Wei Wen can handle the business. Ruan Yu misunderstood it, thinking it was a small reward given by Gu Fukan after he refused to sign the document, but seeing Wei Wen's insistence, she took it and put it in her jacket pocket casually. It's time for her and Lu Ming's best lunch. I don't know if it's Ruan Yu's delusion. The car she drove with the 4-circle mark is as comfortable as yesterday's Phantom. The interior is also spacious, and it's quiet when driving. The experience is superb. Ruan Yu and Lu Ming are at the self-service hot pot restaurant next to University B. Today, Ruan Yu wears a milky white one-neck puff sleeve sweater under her oversized retro dark brown jacket, and her waist-length black wide leg pants perfectly show her supermodel-like long legs and slender waist. It's 2 points playful. Ruan Yu did not bring the expensive watches and jewelry recommended by Wei Wen, but only chose black and white contrasting pearl earrings. Lu Ming has always known that Ruan Yu is beautiful, now she looks like a lazy lady out on the street, keeping a low profile but catching everyone's attention. Waving to Ruan Yu at the entrance of the hot pot restaurant, Lu Ming rushed over. Big beauty, let me touch my waist. Ruan Yu dodged her sexy hand with a smile, but in the end she was still negligent. Lu Ming moved his hands up and down, Mimi touched it twice and asked, is it cold? Fine. After being a star for 3 years, her antifreeze ability has grown day by day. Lu Ming smiled, tightened her brown coat, and took her to the hot pot restaurant with his arms around her waist. Lu Ming scanned the QR code to order, and said, I was busy with my tutor all day yesterday, and I went back to the dormitory at 12 o'clock in the evening and fell asleep. In class this morning, when the students talked about you, I realized that you have quit the circle. You are so fast, you can quit the circle when you say you want to, and you can save 400,000 deters at a young age, not bad. Ruan Yu was slightly taken aback. Didn't you watch the live broadcast yesterday? No, the tutor is so annoying. Lu Ming couldn't help complaining. You don't even know how tired I was yesterday. Director Li is a perfectionist. Yesterday I was looking for papers in the library all day, and I helped him make a form. How can I watch the live broadcast when I have time? Forget it, let's not talk about these hard things. You can take off the mask. There is no one in this store now. Because Ruan Yu is a star, Lu Ming came early to grab the corner position. There is a celebrity best friend. Lu Ming is very thoughtful. Ruan Yu's pretty eyebrows frowned. Yesterday when she hung up Gu Fukin's phone and said about retiring from the circle, she received a call from Lu Ming. It's just that after she left the live recording room, the phone hung up. She believed that Lu Ming would not lie to her. Ruan Yu, did you lend your phone to someone yesterday? I was too busy to remember yesterday. Duan Dai seemed to say that her mobile phone was lost in the library, so she came to borrow my mobile phone to call her. At that time, Lu Ming was so busy that he didn't pay attention to it. How? Ruan Yu came back to her senses. It's okay, I received your call yesterday afternoon, I thought you had something to call me. Lu Ming didn't care, and put meat into the hot pot again and again. I guess she pressed the wrong button. Come, eat hot pot, dry rice. Ruan Yu nodded, and said suddenly, don't contact her in the future. Duan Dai was her roommate when she was a freshman before she debuted. Proper by Fume. However, the relationship between her and Duan Dai has not been very good. During the military training period, Dai slandered her for stealing high-end perfume, spread rumors, and refuted them. During that time, Ruan Yu tried to be innocent, and she understood after this incident. Most people are not looking for the truth, they only believe what they want to believe. Lu Ming suddenly remembered the military training in his freshman year, and repeatedly revealed his camp. I was wrong, I was wrong, I was too busy at the time to care who the person talking to me was, and just perfunctory them away. Next time I will definitely know, I won't say a word to her in the future. We are invincible friends, rich woman, I am still waiting for you to make a fortune to support me, and take me to the island to live a happy retirement life. Ruan Yu smiled lightly, I'm trying my best. By the way, please recommend some financial professional books to me. I want to learn finance again. Ruan Yu went from childhood to university quickly. If she hadn't been dug into the entertainment industry by scouts back then, she would definitely have the title of a talented woman in the finance department of University A. She would definitely have a chance to offer from the top 4 and top 500 in China. Lu Ming admired Ruan Yu. Since she was in school, Ruan Yu has been extremely planned and self-disciplined. As long as she decides to do something, she will complete it no matter how difficult it is. After entering the entertainment circle, learning acting skills, keeping fit, and learning dubbing, all the skills that should be mastered have not fallen, and the road to an excellent actor has gone further and further. Now netizens are still howling for her to go back. Lu Ming, okay, I'll make a book list for you when I go back. The two began to cook happily, and while eating, Lu Ming felt something was wrong. The 4 big men and the woman at the next table came to take a look from time to time. Lu Ming was vigilant all over, lowering his voice, Ruan, let's call the police. The men and women at that table are all staring at you, I'm afraid. Ruan Yu looked over. Wei Wen nodded and smiled at her respectfully. The dishes on the table were barely moved, and the 4 bodyguards picked up 2 dishes from time to time with their chopsticks, but they didn't actually eat them. Probably a rule? Ruan Yu tilted her head and thought for a while, then sent a message to Wei Wen, don't waste food, I'll treat you to this meal. Wei Wen. Okay. The 4 bodyguards groaned and cooked happily and excitedly. Lu Ming. Ruan Yu doesn't intend to hide it, she still has troubles that need to be solved by her friend for many years. My biological parents found me yesterday. They are abroad and can't come back for the time being, but I saw my brother. Liu Ming pursed his lips with a serious expression. Family affection is Ruan Yu's only weakness and weakness. The pain brought by her native family has accompanied her for many years, but she has always handled it well. Are they rich? She saw Ruan Yu's new car today. To what extent? Ruan Yu paused, and said honestly, 4 bodyguards and a personal butler drove 2 phantoms. Liu Ming. Liu Ming took a deep breath. Let me be quiet, I know what you are struggling with. When Ruan Yu decides to quit the circle and start a life she really likes, no one can keep her, but the family that appears at this time will become a psychological barrier that she cannot overcome. Ruan Yu's affection for her family is like the 2 boyfriends Liu Ming met. The first one dumped her, the second cheated on her, and the 2 scumbags broke Liu Ming's heart. Once bitten by a snake and afraid of well ropes for 10 years, Liu Ming hasn't had a boyfriend in 2 years. Ruan Yu had more severe symptoms than hers. The first family appeared in infancy, and the second family appeared for 7 or 8 years, and the results were not good. The wall Ruan Yu built in her heart was much higher than hers. Generally, when encountering this kind of trauma, one should either heal slowly, or run away like Liu Ming, or face up to the difficulties with fire, and find another one. Liu Ming had no courage. It hurts so much to know the truth. Liu Ming was surprised when she heard that Ruan Yu would stay at home for half a month and wait for her parents to come back. She knows Ruan Yu. Staying for half a month means to a large extent that Ruan Yu has reconciled with the past and compromised with her family, but she has not fully expressed it. Ruan gave herself a half-month deadline, which was her armor for self-protection. If her parents and elder brothers were like the past 2 adoptive parents, she would leave without hesitation. As for what he said just now, my brother may value the family property very much, it was just an excuse. Even having such an older brother can give Ruan Yu an emotional buffer. If Ruan Yu couldn't resist the passionate care and love from the beginning, she would be at a loss, embarrassed, or even scared. The wall of the heart needs to be broken slowly with one hammer. As for the so-called drama of rich families fighting for family property, it is not a problem at all. Who would drag people who are lying on their feet into the center of the struggle? Why, invite salted fish to eat melon seeds and watch a show. Ruan Yu poked the kelp in the dish. Do you think it's right to do this? Liu Ming nodded, his voice was gentle and sincere. Ruan, I don't think you should question yourself. You always know what you want, you know what to pursue, and you are very decisive. You have always been the role model I want to pursue. Actually, taking a step back, your brother matches you very well. Ruan Yu understood in seconds. Your brother is powerful, you don't like it. Every time he pushes you out of this inheritance battle, you get what you want and go in both directions properly. Liu Ming smiled suddenly. If he doesn't want to work, Xianyu brought you home just to let you inherit the family property, and you are finished. Thinking of that scene, Ruan Yu shivered. Don't talk about horror stories. I think you can relax and accept everything now. The worst thing is to ask them to take a few $100 million and run to that island to live. Liu Ming paused. Oh, remember to bring me. If you are rich, don't forget each other. Ruan Yu's expression was relieved, and the little chicken pecked the rice and nodded. Sometimes people in the game are not as thorough as onlookers. At first, I thought everything described at the end of the novel was disturbing, but now that I think about it, I am really lucky to have a career-hacking brother. Work hard to make money, and pay so much for this family. What's the matter with power and status? Gu Fuqin should. From now on, she will be Gu Fuqin's career fan, and she will be anxious about him immediately. Liu Ming's explanation is very useful. After eating the hot pot, she has to run back to help her mentor. Before leaving, he pulled Ruan Yu's coat and said, remember to support me when you get rich later. Ruan Yu nodded repeatedly and sent Xiao Lu back to school. In her freshman year, because she wanted to enter the entertainment industry, she changed her major to study at the School of Film and Television of University A. During her freshman and sophomore year, she studied professional courses while making movies. After going out for a trip, Ruan Yu was not in a hurry to go back. She wanted to go shopping in the mall and buy a few sets of clothes, one for her and one for Xiaolu's best friend. As soon as he got in the car, Lu Ming sent a message, Ruan, don't be afraid, if you fall this time, come to me quickly, and I will take you to eat delicious food. Before you fall, please enjoy the rich family life. This kind of experience is rare in the world. I'm almost sour into lemon juice. Ruan Yu's faint helplessness and worries disappeared in an instant. She took family affection too seriously, so she began to worry about gains and losses. Ruan Yu sent a nodding cute cat emoji. He also instructed, don't come into contact with Du and Dai. She is not nice. Lu Ming, I will do whatever the rich woman asks me to do. While talking, Wei Wen came over, and Ruan Yu asked, can you check someone for me? She is not generous enough to allow Du and Dai to continue to do things secretly, and more importantly, she may still be eccentric with Lu Ming. This is also one of the remaining problems in her handling of her retirement. Ruan Yu has 3 tasks at this stage: reading books to learn about financial management, dealing with minor problems after quitting the circle. Wei Wen frowned, Miss, please use this kind of vocabulary as little as possible. Ruan Yu was at a loss for words for a while, and then she raised her forehead with a headache, help me find someone. Wei Wen smiled, you say. According to Ruan Yu's request to investigate Du and Dai, Wei Wen did not forget the business that Mr. Gu Xiao asked. Miss, do you need to go shopping in department stores, forest stores, sales centers, auction houses, or antique collectors? Or find 28 male models to hold a private fashion show for you? Wei Wen smiled politely, but her face was filled with the eagerness of I beg you to spend some money quickly. Ruan Yu. There is no need for male models, you can go shopping in the mall. Wei Wen. She immediately forwarded the good news to Mr. Gu Xiao. Gu Fukan was looking at the documents, and when he saw the news, he wanted to rush to Ruan Yu's side and bring a group of people to carry shopping bags for her. Let him see which shopping mall is so lucky to be favored by his sister. As long as you don't go to the shopping mall of Shen Muming, who has been at odds with him since he was a child and has had grievances for years. He didn't throw Shen Muming out at Gu's dinner last time, he had exhausted all his patience, if his sister was shopping in his mall. 15 minutes later Mr. Gu Xiao, the little miss has arrived at the largest shopping mall under the Shen Group. Gu Fukan. Oh! He forgave Shen Muming. The 270 degrees panoramic office with high ceilings on 3 sides has a wide view. Song Wen happened to come in to report tomorrow's arrangements, and there was a small problem with Country YS publishing project, so he was a little anxious. Gu Fukan was sending a message, so he glanced at him, say. Song Wen stepped forward to report, in the entertainment industry, the sales of games this quarter dropped by 0.5% compared with the same period last month. Gu Fukan listened, typing on the mobile phone non-stop. The overall strategy is okay. During the painful period of transformation, the cost of product publicity increased by 3.5% this quarter. Yes. When Song Wen heard one report after another, Gu Fukan seemed to listen casually, but he was able to give accurate suggestions and directions, and calmly pointed out a few minor problems in the bottleneck period of the subsidiary. Song Wen admired his natural self-confidence and pride, and he didn't blame the rumors that Gu Fukan was a legend in the entire business world. Gu Fu Chen pursues efficiency extremely, and under the principle that time is money, he can call and never send text messages. Song Wen was curious about which heavyweight Mr. Gu was discussing cooperation with. Since he has been careful enough to type slowly to ensure that there are no mistakes or omissions in what he says, he must be negotiating an acquisition project with country M. The cooperation of tens of billions is indeed more cautious than usual. Song Wen arranged the documents that Gu Fuken needed to review in order of importance, and while carefully observing Gu Fuken, he felt happy. I also learned a little business trick when encountering unsure negotiations. You can resolve them through online communication. Now, Gu Fuken's chat interface actually looks like this. Gee, Ruan is shopping. Fu Jiazan, why did you change the name of the avatar to a simple one? Gee, prepare for my sister to add me on WeChat. Fu Jiazan, gee, those who don't have a younger sister don't understand the good intentions of being a brother, and they don't have a common language with you. Goodbye. Fu Jiazan? Gu Fuken clicked his tongue twice, showing off to someone who doesn't have a younger sister, without any sense of accomplishment. He set his target on Song Wen. I heard you have a younger sister. Song Wen's speech function was disturbed for a moment, who was so bored that he had a younger sister. Have you been heard by the boss? Mr. Gu, no. Song Wen replied honestly. Gu Fu Chen nodded apologetically, the corners of his lips slightly raised. Oh, I have. Song Wen? Gu Fuken suppressed the raised corners of his lips, pretending to be casual and said, she is shopping with my card. Song Wen? The truth has surfaced, Mr. Gu is spreading rumors. In just 2 days, Song Wen had a new understanding of the term Sister Devil. Sister Devil, a kind of god-level figure who can maintain a high level before meeting his sister, easily deal with all kinds of monsters, and has a superior IQ. After meeting his sister, he loses his temper and falls to the ground. Speaking of the basin is a conservative estimate. According to the childishness of Mr. Gu, his brain should be thrown below -2 kilometers in the deep sea. Gu Fuken didn't care about the persona in front of the special assistant, he just wanted to know what Ruan Yu was buying and whether he was happy. Although Wei Wen offered to report the incident at first, Gu Fu Chen restrainedly refused. Knowing that Ruan Yu is willing to use the black card to spend money when he goes shopping today, he is already satisfied. When I knew the location, I was so excited that I asked more questions. He respects his sister's personal life and privacy, and it is strange that his every move is reported to others, even family members. Gu Fuken sent 2 more messages to Wei Wen. You don't have to tell me these things in the future. Give Ruan plenty of personal space. If she doesn't want bodyguards to follow her, don't follow her before the parents return to China. Except for the Fu family, the Gu family did not disclose Ruan Yu's information to any wealthy family. The family rarely dealt with media reporters, and it was even more impossible for the public to know about it. Ruan is very safe, but it will be cumbersome if someone follows. Wei Wen, okay. Gu Fuken held up his mobile phone and fell into a long wait. No consumption information of the black card popped up on the screen. Ruan hasn't started spending money yet. Sitting in the luxurious office with panoramic views from 3 sides, Gu Fuken felt a little melancholy. Inexplicably envious of the housekeeper and bodyguards, only they can accompany Ruan Yu all day, he unconsciously murmured, give this position back to Dad, it would be a good choice for me to change jobs. Song Wen packed up the materials and was about to leave when Wen Yan paused, what are you going to do? He quickly ran through the careers and companies that had promising prospects in the near future in his mind. Gu Fuken spoke solemnly, my sister's personal butler. Song Wen took a deep breath, I wish you a successful application and a happy job hopping. Well, I accept the blessing. In the shopping center. Wei Wen quickly understood what Gu Fuken meant. The core is just one sentence, she has only one employer, the little lady, and she will definitely serve the little lady in the future. Even if Mr. Gu Xiao's wish conflicts with the little lady's, she should stand by the little lady's side unconditionally. After confirming this rule, Wei Wen's work became much easier. Thinking of Ruan Yu's low-key, money-like dung noble quality displayed in the past 2 days, Wei Wen found an excuse to wait in the parking lot with bodyguards. Ruan Yu nodded repeatedly and suggested, drink some coffee and take a break. The respectful attitude of Wei Wen and the big bodyguards made her very uncomfortable. After they left, Ruan Yu finally recovered her previous shopping status. It's just that she walked around for about 10 minutes, and it was the first time she realized that it was so difficult to spend money. This shopping mall is one of the largest shopping malls in the country. Hundreds of brands have settled in, and the scale is huge. It is a paradise for shoppers. It's not far from University B. 90% of the girls in Ruan Yu's freshman year went here for ornamental shopping. They can only watch the kind that can't be bought. Everyone dreams of buying here, regardless of the price or quantity. Just one word when you meet someone you like: purchase. Ruan Yu was one of them, an integral part of her planned retirement. She went directly to the luxury goods area on the 7th floor, and visited dozens of big brands. Ruan Yu found sadly that all the things she liked were moved into the cloakroom by Wei Wen. She also has new products of the season that are not even available in brand stores. Wei Wen understands her so well. Skincare products and cosmetics are all high-end products that are personally matched by professionals according to her skin condition, and they are on the way to be transported by air. Ruan Yu doesn't have much love for jewelry, and the ones she likes a little in brand stores are also in the cloakroom. On the dangers of too large a cloakroom. When Ruan Yu thought of the anticipation and excitement in Wei Wen's eyes when she reminded her to spend the money just now, she felt a headache about not being able to spend the money. She had no intention of spending money to buy something she didn't like, so she thought about it carefully and decided to go to the first floor to buy some food before going shopping. She hasn't found a clothing brand store that Liu Ming likes for the time being, and she will look for it when she comes over later. The demand is here, and there is always a place to spend money. Don't panic. There are many chain snack bars on the first floor. Just downstairs, the aroma of egg waffles overflowed, and Ruan Yu was a little greedy. A mango egg waffle. Okay. Ruan Yu fumbled for her phone in her big coat, the pocket was empty. Give me a hand. Just now, after paying the bill for eating hot pot, she conveniently put her mobile phone in her bag. When she got off the car, she felt that the small bag was troublesome, so she didn't take it with her. She completely forgot about the cell phone she threw inside. Miss Sister. The clerk who was preparing to make egg waffles looked puzzled. Ruan Yu's cheeks were hot under the mask. Wei Wen and the bodyguard were not around. His left hand fumbled for something hard in his pocket. Can I swipe my card? Certainly. The clerk reached out to pick up the card while typing. A white and slender hand appeared in the line of sight, the nails were crystal clear and shiny, and the thumb and index finger were holding a completely black card. The cashier clerk took it casually, and when he swiped it on the machine, he caught a glimpse of the card from the corner of his eye, and his hand trembled so much that he almost pressed a string of zeros. The black card is low-key and steady, with 8 eights embellished in gold. This sky-high mystery and wealth. This is the first time I saw a young lady who bought egg waffles with a black card. 2. The eldest lady doesn't need a black card to buy egg waffles, what else can she use? There are no 8 bodyguards for close protection, and the owner of the mall introduced respectfully, paying with a black card is low-key enough, isn't it? When I looked up at the beautiful young lady in front of me, I felt that her whole body was emitting a golden light. Novel of the wealthy family does not deceive me, the eldest lady of the wealthy family comes with her own BGM, standing in the crowd can easily catch everyone's attention. The clerk held back his envious saliva, and returned it with both hands after swiping the card. There is another one in front of you, wait about 5 minutes. At this moment, Gu Fukin sat on the office chair, clasped his hands, and stared blankly at the mobile phone placed on the C position of the desk with his head down. Ding, the text message sounded. Gu Fukin picked up the phone with lightning speed. The first order came. How much, how much, how much it cost? There was a bright smile on the corner of Gu Fukin's mouth. Look down. Spend 20 yuan. Watched it again. Make sure there is only 10. Gu Fukin's smile gradually disappeared, his fingers became weak, and the phone fell on the desk with a snap. He waited with all his might for the first bill, like a clown. Gu Fuchen fell on the back of the chair and stared at the ceiling blankly, his facial features twisted together in distress. My sister really doesn't know how to spend money. The phone vibrated a few times, and Gu Fuchen opened it listlessly. The WeChat group called heirs who don't want to be heirs, for keeps popping up new messages. Lu Jin, why are there so many troubles in life? Gu Fukin regained his energy. Gee, say it out and be happy. Lu Jin, I heard that your sister has returned home? Then you must understand me. Gu Fuchen sat up straight, intending to have a long and sad talk with Lu Jin about we are both degenerate people, why should we meet each other before? A new message popped up in the group. Lu Jin, Lu Xian's girl card was suspended by the old man, calling me to swipe her card every day, and I have to pick her up after shopping, which is very troublesome. Gee! Get out! Lu Jin talked about stand-up comedy for a long time in the group. After complaining about him as the driver's sister, he began to yell that he had dropped a certain first T-line male star and first T-line female star and became a fan of a new star. I didn't talk about the specific details, just said that the fan was very uncomfortable. Gu Fukin, Fu Jiazan and Zhang Huai in the group didn't bother to talk to him. Lu Jin's only hobby is star chasing, a secret that only the 3 friends in the group know. 90% of the people in the wealthy circle don't pay attention to the entertainment industry. Lu Jin's parents think this industry is too flashy. Before Lu Jin's younger sister Lu Xian wanted to enter the entertainment industry, she was severely criticized by Lu's father and mother. Lu Jin naturally concealed his hobby of chasing stars to death. It's also funny to say it. The heir to a leading company in the IT industry, chasing stars and having to for nothing, can't spend a penny on it, accidentally sees idols in public, and pretends to be cold, so as not to be discovered by his parents and family. What a miserable man! But Gu Fukin never admits that he is envious of Lu Jin now. Why didn't he know that Lu Xian was so motivated, let her brother carry bags, swipe cards and pick up cars every day? Just thinking about it makes him envious. Gu Fukin was greatly shocked and decided to rush into the shopping mall to demonstrate to his younger sister what it means to spend money. When he left the office and walked to the assistant's office area, Song Wen followed subconsciously and reported the good news with a smile. The person in charge of the fund said that you have made a total of 1.2 billion in private wealth management business recently. Gu Fukin paused, like a slow motion in a movie, turned his head and slowly looked at Song Wen, a trace of pain flashed in his dark eyes. Earned 1.2 billion, my sister spent 20. Good. Very nice. Gu Fukin gritted his teeth, don't tell me this kind of thing in the future. Song Wen. After Gu Fukin said don't follow, I'll deal with private matters, he left the office building with heavy steps and drove all the way to the shopping center. This trip to the mall, he has a big task. Ruan, who doesn't like money, finally agreed to spend money, but only spent 20 yuan. This move made Gu Fuchen afraid and distressed. I was afraid that the Gu family would not be able to keep their noble sister, and I felt sorry for the fact that the first sum my sister spent was only 20 yuan. I must have lived many days like this before, and it makes me worry when I think about it. He had to correct her money outlook. My sister won't buy it, so let him come. When the car was parked in the parking lot of the shopping mall, Gu Fukin received a very important call from his parents who were far away abroad. There was a flash of light in the dark eyes, and Gu Fuchen quickly picked it up. It's time for his parents to teach his younger sister how to buy together. In order for Gu Yuqian and Ruan Liu to be able to talk to Ruan Yu today, Gu Yuqian kept his face in good condition. He originally wanted to call Gu Fukin to find out the truth, but he never thought that as soon as he got connected, he would make a call. Very strange request. In the video, Gu Yuqian was lying on the sofa chair, looking much better than usual. Hearing this, he slightly lowered his eyebrows. Teach you how to spend money. Ruan Liu Yuxia frowned, her well-maintained face showed a bit of anxiety. What's wrong? You bullied her. How can I be willing to bully Ruan? Gu Fukin frowned, it's just. After hesitating, the phone fell silent. It's what? Hurry up and say it. Ruan Liu hurriedly urged. She doesn't like money a little bit. Ruan Liu and Gu Yuqian checked several times before they could be sure that the son said money instead of I. Gu Fuchen sighed, Dad, I think it was a very wrong choice for you to choose to go into business. Ruan doesn't like money, and the development of the family business is useless. Our family can't give her the correct guidance and life direction that meets her values. If one of you was a painter and the other was a musician, maybe the elegant and Loki sister would like our family. Family atmosphere is very important, parents. Gu Yuqian's expression gradually became serious. Ruan Liu felt that something was wrong, and put on an elder's attitude to teach. Fu Chen, is it just to make some money for you to live a life of pleasure and luxury? What is the real value? Gu Fukin should be very clear after being the heir for 3 years. Gu Fukin and Gu Yuqian were stunned for 2 seconds at the same time, raised their eyes, fixedly looked at their mother/wife, and asked solemnly, otherwise, what reason could there be? Ruan Liu. As the only normal person in the family, she chooses not to speak. Gu Fukin concluded solemnly, in short, you chose the wrong career path at the beginning, which made me wrongly step into your footsteps. Please reflect seriously. Now, I will pay for your wrong behavior. Gu Yuqian, yes. Ruan Liu. What are you going to do? If it wasn't for her husband's chemotherapy, Ruan Liu really wanted to go back to China and take Yo-Yo away. I always feel that my proud son has been kicked in the head by a donkey, and I can't let Yo-Yo's IQ be affected by him. Take Ruan to experience the joy of shopping and spending money, and let her sink in the life of money worship. Gu Yuqian made a simple comment, not bad. Ruan Liu's head was buzzing with pain. Gu Yuqian, shut up. Gu Fukin walked towards the 7th floor of the shopping mall, and said, Mom, I'm going to find Ruan now. If you want to teach Dad a lesson, I suggest you leave the screen and mute the education. You can't let Ruan see a disharmonious family. Just now he asked Wei Wen to ask Ruan's location, and when he heard her go back to the 7th floor for shopping, Gu Fukin felt relieved, and at the same time realized a very serious problem. He doesn't have his sister's WeChat. He even has a little butler, him. But without have. When Dad comes back, he will resign when he is in better health. He couldn't stay in the position of CEO for a day. Dogs can't do this day. After Ruan Yu finished eating the egg waffles, she went back to the 7th floor and continued to look for the shop that Liu Ming liked. The exterior of shopping mall looks like a continuous mountain range, and the interior is composed of 5 or 6 medium-sized shopping malls. Ruan Yu walked for more than half an hour to go around the 7th floor, and finally found the store of Liu Minga on the other side. The coal store is very big, the brand is expensive, and there are not many customers. There are only about 9 people in total. Just as Ruan Yu entered the store, the shopping guide walked up enthusiastically, welcome to Coal. Customers by the store door subconsciously looked over. It's do and die. Ruan Yu's eyes met her inadvertently, she pursed her lips and looked away, then turned her head and chatted lightly with the shopping guide. Liu Ming saw this autumn and winter fashion show on the internet a week ago. This season, the brand focuses on retro youth. The concept is both romantic and anticipating. There are several looks that Liu Ming particularly likes. It's just that if you like it, you can only like it, so you can only take screenshots and save it and silently open a certain treasure to buy clothes. The 3 jackets collected by Liu Ming are all in the window on the left side of the store door, and they are the main promotion models of the season. The shopping guide smiled, the store you mentioned still has the last set. As she said that, she put on her white gloves and walked towards the glass closet at the door of the store. When she was about to take out the middle suit, Duandai, who had been silently looking at Ruan Yu, said first, "I want this set, wrap it up. This size is not suitable for you." Following Duandai's shopping guide suggestion, "Here is a style. I want this set." Duandai handed the card to the shopping guide who followed her, and casually looked at Ruan Yu, "Sorry, the suit you like is mine now." The upturned coda proclaims her pride. The invisible flames of war are scattered everywhere, and the atmosphere is a bit weird. The shopping guide forced a smile and said to Ruan Yu, "Miss, if you want this one, we can transfer it to City A, and it will arrive in about a day." Ruan Yu's tone was very light, "No. I don't want this one." "Duandai?" She just bought a set of clothes she couldn't wear just to make Ruan Yu angry, but it turned out that she didn't like this one? Duandai felt powerless and resentful as if she had punched cotton. Ruan Yu, the first and fourth items on the left, the second, seventh, and 10th sets in the third column on the right. The shopping guide smiled and fetched clothes for her. Duandai looked at Ruan Yu condescendingly. Ruan Yu is not a top star. How dare she spend so much after quitting the circle and losing her job? Most of the time, Ruan Yu is too lazy to take the initiative to get involved in the vortex of conflicts. When others come to offend, she usually reprimands them with 2 or 3 sentences or ignores them, watching the stupid jump up and down. But there are surprises in everything. She doesn't like Duandai. There is no need to be generous to her. Ruan Yu took the initiative to walk in front of Duandai, put her hands in her pockets, and stated calmly, "You called me with Xiaolu's cell phone." Duandai withdrew her gaze and raised her chin, "I don't know what you're talking about." Ruan Yu, profess to be a famous lady by Fume, don't use too lowly methods, it's embarrassing. Duandai was taken aback for a moment, then said angrily after recovering, "Don't slander people." She has never liked Ruan Yu. When she was a freshman, she tried her best to steal her limelight and made everyone surround her. Later, when she entered the entertainment industry, she bullied her idol and hooked up with the lover of her idol Yu Qi. Who doesn't know that Yu Qi and Cheng Gaiwan are in love with each other? They are obviously in the same circle, but they still look at Cheng Gaiwan eagerly, and the live explanation is also ridiculous and disgusting. Looking at the brooch? I don't feel ashamed, just a petty air. Take care of yourself. A brooch can keep you stared at for a long time, so short of money. Duandai smiled contemptuously, called a shopping guide, and bought 6 sets of clothes in one go, which was exactly one more than Ruan Yu's order. "If you don't have any money, you should save some money, you are not the same as my family." Ruan Yu originally wanted to add 2 sets of clothes, so she didn't want to fight for steamed buns. Hearing the last sentence, her heart suddenly calmed down, and she nodded in agreement, "Our 2 families are indeed different." "What are you talking about?" Duandai said, turning her eyes to see the people walking outside. She swallowed all her anger in her heart, and her expression and demeanor instantly became reserved. "Young master, who can resist this?" Seeing Duandai's rapid face change, Ruan Yu turned around suspiciously. Gu Fukan walked slowly, his footsteps were calm and powerful, his perfect facial features brightened and darkened under the faint light and shadow. In 2 simple steps, he walked out of the film texture, which absolutely made Ruan Yu want to suggest him to make a film debut. With this kind of face, it is a waste not to play a few more roles to benefit the majority of girls. Nuwa gave him such a perfect face, didn't she let him hide in the office to make money? Oh no! If her brother enters the entertainment industry, the family will fall on her head? Then continue to work in the office and leave his face to Nuwa to appreciate alone. Gu Fukan paused slightly after seeing the shopping bag in Ruan Yu's hand, but he quickly realized it. He took the shopping bag from Ruan Yu with a serious tone, "Did you buy it with your own card?" Ruan Yu nodded. "This is a gift for Luming, of course she has to use her own money. All this fell into the eyes of Gu Fukin and the parents in the video, and it became the heaviness and grief of the younger sister/daughter who dared not use Gu's family money. Yo-yo, buy some more. A gentle female voice came out of the phone. Gu Fukin introduced, this is mother. Ruan Yu was about to say hello to her mother, but Gu Fukin stopped her, the important thing is not chatting, you go shopping first. Ruan Yu, I've already bought enough. And no matter how you look at it, greeting family members should be more important than shopping. Gu Fukin lowered his head, clenched the shopping bag in his hand, and sighed in his heart. Looking up, he stared at Ruan Yu, I'll teach you how to buy. Ruan Yu? Under Ruan Yu's bewildered eyes, Gu Fukin said indifferently, wrap up all the styles and colors of the new season in the store. Do and die? Shopping guides? Gu Fuchen turned his head calmly, looked at Ruan Yu and said solemnly, this is called buying. Ruan Yu. Leaving the shopping guide in a daze, packing clothes stiffly, Gu Fukin and Ruan Yu left the Cole brand store. All clothes are delivered to your door. However, the address the brand delivers to the door is not the manner. Members of the family rarely shop at shopping mall, but there is always an emergency. In order not to reveal the identity and the address of the manor, there is a small villa 5 kilometers away from the manor, where all the express delivery is placed. It is a luxury version of the rookie station. Ruan Yu's identity cannot be revealed yet. Parents have explained that when they come back, they will hold a grand comeback banquet for Ruan, and introduce the identity of sister Ruan Yu in front of all the wealthy families. Gu Fuchen had no objection. After leaving, Gu Fukin remembered about his parents and held up his mobile phone to ask Ruan Yu to say hello to his parents. Before the in-depth communication began, a foreign language suddenly came from the video, and Ruan Liu hung up the phone in a hurry. Yo-yo, Mom and Dad are going to have a video conference, let's talk next time. Ruan Yu didn't think much about it. She could feel that her parents were hiding something, but the gentle conversation at the first meeting had made her realize that her biological parents were indeed different from the previous two adoptive parents. At least, the attitude towards her is very different. This is enough. After hanging up the phone, Gu Fukin took Ruan Yu into several shoe and bag shops. Under the envious eyes of the shopping guides, Ruan Yu's expression became more and more numb. How to say? It felt like she was forced to take a field teaching class on how the top spends money. It was only a preliminary teaching in the coal store, and the following ones became more and more exaggerated and weird. Don't buy it. Ruan Yu looked embarrassed. Gu Fukin couldn't see Ruan Yu's expression under the mask, but he knew that she was tired from the voice, so he immediately took back his steps and walked to the elevator. In the process of shopping, he did not forget his overlord personality. Every time he spent money, every time he spoke, he was concise and clear, with an indifferent expression. Gu Fukin was very satisfied with his teaching, turned his head and asked Ruan Yu, do you know how to spend money? Ruan Yu nodded obediently. The scene feels like the dean is lecturing. Gu Fukin looked at the number keys of the jumping elevator, and said calmly, within tomorrow, spend 100 million to see it. When getting off the elevator, Ruan Yu was forced to cram a sentence into her numb mind, today's homework, spend all 100 million, due tomorrow. Ruan Yu is a top student, almost no homework will stump her. But today, she obeyed. Just lie flat and stop pretending, I admit defeat. All the way to the parking lot, Ruan Yu's head was spinning rapidly. She still didn't understand why Gu Fukin came to the shopping mall suddenly, took her to buy during the video call of her parents, and even assigned such a weird homework. After much deliberation, when she saw Gu Fukin walking towards the extremely low-key car she drove today, Ruan Yu had a flash of inspiration and finally understood the thoughts of the superior. The more she spends and buys in front of her parents, the more it shows that she does not have the quality that an heir should have. Keep letting her buy, and fall into a life of luxury and pleasure, and become an outlier among the heirs of wealthy families who are struggling to survive. Naturally, the position of heir will not fall on her head. The elder brother can maintain the power position, and can also make the family harmonious, so that there will be no terrible things like other wealthy families fighting against each other or even drugging in the news, and she can fully immerse herself in the happiness brought by the Dingao family. I have done so many things, all for the harmony and love of this family. Isn't this the salted fish life she has longed for? Sleep until you wake up in the sun, do whatever you want. After understanding this point, Ruanyu finally understood that from now on, the more she spends, the later she sleeps, and the smoother her travels, the happier brother Ba will be. Okay, make sure Ruanyu fell on the back of the chair, and when she realized that there was a vast salted fish life waiting for her, she felt very comfortable. His attitude towards Gu Fu Chen was somewhat natural. When the car started, she finally asked her doubts that she had been holding back for a day. This car is very comfortable to sit in, the driving experience is very good, and the price is high. Why is there only one of the same brand at home? Gu Fukin lightly tapped the steering wheel with his fingertips, recalling the origin of this car. After a while, the car drove out of the parking lot, the light turned from dark to bright, and Gu Fukin's voice came along with the sunshine of November, casually and a little lazy. Dad liked the appearance and brand logo of this car very much at the beginning. Let me, it is refitted by the brand owner, and everything is equipped with top-end parts. Ruanyu pursed her lips in silence. I consciously didn't ask the price, and didn't want to hurt my wounded heart, but it would definitely not be less than 10 million. After choosing for a long time, she only chose a mascot in the garage. Outside the parking lot, Duandai put away her mobile phone, and angrily sent the photo of the car she just took to Zumaluozi. It's not a luxury car, how dare you pretend like that in the store just now? Most likely it was to anger her. Luozi replied quickly, this car is only worth more than 1 million yuan. Want to buy it? The price is right, but this one is not suitable for you to drive. Duandai angrily told Luozi about her grievances with Ruanyu and what happened in the brand store. Luozi chuckled, what does the little star do? But she is so anxious to quit the circle, so she found a rich brother, and seeing their nouveau-riche appearance, there will be no money going anywhere. Do something to anger you. The thing about swollen faces to pretend to be fat, when they get the credit card bills, they will know how to write the word regret, and maybe they haven't left for a long time, and they ran to return the goods cowardly. The rich second generation like them have received a good education since they were young. With this foundation, how could they do the kind of stupid things that don't treat money as money? Recalling Ruanyu's brother's grandeur, Duandai felt guilty for a while, but was soon attracted by another matter. In a few days, I will come to Marisa City to participate in the 29th Economic Forum Conference. Many wealthy families will go there to exchange ideas. My father won the opportunity for me to go there and learn some experience. When I leave tomorrow, I can still visit you. Luozi added. Duandai responded quickly, I'll treat you to a big meal when I come here. I want to go to that kind of conference too. I haven't had any experience in school financial management. It's so boring. Will people at the Gu family level also go? Of course not. Luozi thought for a moment, I'll send you a website link later, you can use it as a practical exercise for beginners in investment. There are many big names in the forum, and there are payment problems. I will make some small investments, and I can accumulate practical experience in it. I am also on the website, and the ID name is Countless Camels. Duandai agrees. She has been trained as a future successor since she was a child, but she is too lazy to practice in college. This year, her father puts a lot of pressure on her, and she is almost depressed to death. I want to go to the economic forum partly because I want to see the appearance of the legendary successors of the upper class, and partly because of pressure. Knowing that the Gu family and the Fu family were not going, he lost interest, and turned to look at the link sent by Luozi. The boredom brought by Ruan Yu slowly dissipated with Luo Ziyi's explanation. They both firmly believe that what happened in Cole's store today may appear to be a loser, but they must be the real winners. After returning home, Ruan Yu sat in the study on the 7th floor and seriously thought about how to complete the after-school homework of Spend 100 million. When Gu Fukin came in, he brought a stack of documents that were thicker than in the morning. His steps were slow and heavy, and his walking posture was stiffer than usual. After standing still in front of the desk, he stared at her with an unspeakable expression on his face. Ruan Yu put down the pen and instantly understood what it meant. In the morning, she told Wei Wen that she would not sign the document for accepting the property, but she could sign the document for refusing the gift of the family property, to express her attitude that she had no intention of competing for the inheritance right. Brother, is this touching? Or is it the unbearable pain after knowing that she is going to give up her property? Well, the careerist Gu Fu Chen has paid too much for this family, and these are all money he earned, so what's wrong with guarding his own property? It's time for her to give up something in exchange for peace in the future of the family. Ruan Yu lowered her head, with her white hands facing up. She tried her best to keep calm, but what she rejected was not Chinese cabbage, but tens of billions of property. Her voice trembling uncontrollably. Give it to me, I'll sign. Gu Fukin raised his eyebrows in astonishment, and quickly turned to the place where he needed to sign, for fear that his sister would find out that he had added a lot of real estate after seeing the list on the first page. Here, here, and here. Ruan Yu gripped the pen tightly and rewrote her name stroke by stroke. The veins on the back of her white hands were slightly visible. When it was time to sign the last document, Gu Fukin couldn't help asking in a low voice, Ruan. Ah! Ruan Yu raised her head, her face as delicate as a Barbie doll still had pain that hadn't dissipated. Gu Fukin hesitated. Aren't you, don't like money very much? Ruan Yu pursed her lips, lowered her head and quickly signed her name, closed the folder without even looking at it. A set of movements was neat, and used her life's acting skills to suppress the coming pain and despair. Her tone was solemn. Yes. Dislike. I don't like it at all. Woo. Gu Fukin looked at her silently for a while. His long and narrow eyes were deep and complicated, and said in a low voice, for a while, the housekeeper will inform you of the dinner time later. You should do your work first. He didn't know how he came out of Ruan Yu's study, and when he was conscious, he had already descended to the 6th floor and sat in the study, and wrote a sentence in his notebook with mixed feelings. My sister is a saint. 3 years ago, when his father abdicated and handed over the position of chairman to him, he couldn't help being excited for half an hour when he sat in the high position and enjoyed boundless wealth. Compared with Ruan, he was a bit unqualified. Too vulgar. Look at the younger sister who felt pain after signing the property gift. But apart from money, he can't give Ruan anything. Even if Ruan doesn't like money, he still has to continue his money-spending course, spend on the head, and let his sister spend it. Anyway, in the end Ruan signed the document, proving that the teaching is useful and must continue in the future. Ruan Yu, who rejected tens of billions of family property, was completely decadent. After eating listlessly on the small square table, under Gu Fukin's deep gaze, he went back to his room and read novels on the sofa. Novel, a must-have item when you are depressed and bored. Ruan Yu didn't know how to spend 100 million yuan, so after thinking for a long time, she decided to start with her interest. It doesn't cost 100 million yuan to read a novel, but there is still a whole day tomorrow. When the deadline is reached, people can always burst out with unlimited motivation and potential. Ruan Yu liked to read novels when she was in school, but she had limited time and money for her studies and wallet. But now, she has nothing but time and money. After finding an interesting copywriter to start the scanning journey, Lu Ming sent her a WeChat message. Ruan, I sorted out the book list and magazines, and sent you the Excel file. There are also a few must-see websites, as well as forums suitable for practical training for beginners. You can take a look. I still have a lot of printed papers here, shall I send them to you? No need, I'll look for you tomorrow. I went to the mall today to give you a gift. Is that what I mean? Is it the one I love? Big rich woman cat covering mouth. Jpg waiting for you tomorrow. After closing the WeChat chat interface, Ruanyu opened the book list and glanced at it. There are 18 books in total, 12 of which she had already read when she was a freshman. But she has never seen the forum that Liu Ming mentioned. Ruanyu is not in a hurry to go to the forum, reading novels is more important. What she was looking for was this MOBA mobile game article. The subject matter was a bit cold, and not many people read it. It tells the story of a support player who is passionate about the championship. He is looked down upon by others, the team leader is not optimistic, and the team bully excludes him. After experiencing various difficulties, he finally reaches the top. The blood of unyielding struggle for the ideal, the spirit of fearless forward, the charm of not admitting defeat, and the pure faith can move people at any time. Ruanyu was impressed, and slowly turned to the next chapter expectantly, wanting to witness that the protagonist became the first player to play offline for the first time after going through all kinds of difficulties, and officially started his professional journey. Gone. Ruanyu? Reluctantly, she flipped through the catalog, only to realize that what she jumped into was an unfinished shallow pit. This small setback will not affect Ruanyu's pace of spending money for love. Ruanyu sent a message to Wei Wen, quickly contact Liang to buy the copyright of this film and television. There is only one requirement, the day is over, and the manuscript is released. She wants to see. It was the first time Wei Wen received Ruanyu's urging message, and when she sensed the urgency of the situation, the usually calm person showed a rare panic. At any cost, at any cost. At 9 o'clock in the evening, there was an additional post in the Luoyang forum, help, is this true? Many readers and authors who eat melon click in to have a look. The copyright editor approached me and asked me if I would sell the copyright of a serialized article. I'm just a small street fan who earns 2,000 to generate electricity for love, let alone 1 million, I'll sell even 10,000. I couldn't believe it, so I asked the copyright editor if he was a liar, and the editor said no, it's just a rich woman who spent millions of dollars on copyright to read the article and urged me to finish it quickly. The Green River Forum area is crazy. Old poster Gugu, are you sure that what you wrote is not dream literature? The little one who loves to generate electricity. I quickly got up and updated, praying that the rich woman would take a look at me. Is the landlord Gugu's manuscript box enough? If it is not enough, it is recommended to repay the debt with a daily code of 100,000, so as not to hurt the heart of the rich woman. Give me pointers. Jpg Be sure to cheer up. Use your updates and enthusiasm to keep the rich woman. A rich woman buys movies and TV today, votes for Ba Wang tomorrow, and directly buys the entire Luoyang the day after tomorrow. The rich woman who spends money for love and the author who generates electricity for love are running in both directions. Woo woo woo, beat me to death. The future of Luoyang is in your hands, hurry up and rush. One Pen, the author of The Strongest Assistant who shoulders the future of Luoyang, felt the pressure on his shoulders, and happily and excitedly released the 180,000 word manuscript at one time. This is enough enthusiasm, enough enthusiasm, enough to make a rich woman happy. Ruanyu was pleasantly surprised by Wei Wen's efficiency. After watching it happily, she did not forget to cast 10 thunders to express her excitement when she saw the highlights. After reading the 36 manuscripts, a total of more than 100 minds were cast. I haven't counted them in detail. After reading them, I put them in my favorites and come back next time. The Strongest Assistant became the top 100 of the Overlord list, and the comment area was extremely lively. There are quite a few readers attracted from the homepage Overlord list. Is this the text selected by the rich woman? Looking at the name, it must be. The first one on the list is the fat cat who works hard to spend money. Finally, a rich woman saw through our pain and understood our fragility. Qian spent millions to drain the author's manuscript box, the most enjoyable time chasing articles. Who knows, Ruan Yu didn't have the habit of reading the comment section. After finishing the novel and closing the Luoyang app, she still had serious business to do. Ruan Yu clearly distinguishes her current life. The strong assets of the Ding Gao family can give her boundless wealth and enjoyment, and she is completely immersed in the joy of spending money, but this kind of life has many uncertain factors. Whether it's the black card, the 100 million bank card that Gu Fukan gave her to complete the homework, or the luxurious wardrobe of hundreds of square meters, the priceless jewelry inside, and the antique high-end clothes that Wei Wen is buying for her everywhere, they are all brought to her by the family. Except for the 4 million in the suitcase and the bank card, she has nothing else of her own. Realizing this, Ruan Yu felt a little uneasy. She didn't like others to control her own destiny. If the sudden she is not from the Ding Gao family, everything is just an oolong, wouldn't it be cool? Oh yes! On the second day after returning home, why did no one mention the paternity test? Although the 2-year-old photo sent by Xiaoxi was indeed very similar to the photo of her in the orphanage, the similarity was as high as 98%, even so, there was still a 2% danger. Why do members of the Ding Gao family who control billions of dollars of wealth look like idiots? Ruan Yu frowned, sighed, and asked Wei Wen for Gu Fukan's contact information. Gu Fukan agreed quickly. The avatar, name, and background of Moments are as simple as the boss she imagined. Ba Zong's novels do not deceive me. It turns out that Ba Zong is really like this in reality. Ruan Yu took the initiative to send an emoji fat cat. The cat is obediently waving. GIF G, homework done? Fat cat, no, there is something I want to tell you. G, fat cat, shall we do a paternity test? G. Ruan Yu stared at the question mark in bewilderment. Why, isn't it a normal process for a daughter who hasn't seen her for many years to be brought home? Isn't it a normal process to do a paternity test? Why send question marks to question her IQ? The prompt the other party is typing was on, and Ruan Yu rested her chin on one hand, looking angrily at what Gu Fukan would send. Gee, you don't believe we are your family? Fat cat, I think you should question my identity now. Gee? Fat cat, there may be deviations based on the photos alone, and it is a comparison of the photos when I was 2 years old. What if someone looks exactly like me at that time? Gee, no kid can look so good looking. Ruan Yu, thank you, just take it as you are praising me. In the end, under Ruan Yu's insistence, the paternity test was still done. Ruan Yu and Gu Fukan's housekeeper sent the template to a professional organization, and the result came out a day later. Ruan Yu finally felt at ease, and silently opened the website Lu Ming sent her amid Gu Fukan's urging message to do homework that costs money. I feel that Gu Fukan's IQ fluctuates up and down. How did this kind of unscrupulous heir who didn't even do a paternity test double the family's assets? This unscientific. It feels like the family is in jeopardy, going bankrupt and collapsing at any moment. Before you go bankrupt, you can still earn a little bit. The forum Lu Ming sent is a niche website with not many users. There are a lot of payment questions on the homepage of the forum, and it is a communication platform for experts in the circle. Ruan Yu randomly clicked into 2, and the content of the answers were hidden. Only those who paid were eligible to watch, and the same was true for the questioner. Next to each small answer, you can see the respondent's personal experience, educational background, which investment projects he has participated in, how many times the answered question has been paid for, the number of likes, the number of fans, etc. And the most important thing is the inside of the forum. Ranking. There is a leaderboard in the middle of the forum. Only those whose answer content has been purchased more than 500 times are eligible to be on the list. The higher the number of purchases, the higher the accuracy rate, and the more fans and likes, it means these people are stronger. This is an invisible rule in the forum. Like the game ranks, it is divided into bronze, silver, diamond, and king. Experts in the industry answering questions here can not only enjoy the fun of making money, but also the thrill of slowly climbing the ranks. Ruan Yu registered an account to browse, didn't even bother to change the name, and kept the original username, user4388320. She majored in finance in college, and she worked very hard in her freshman year. At that time, she finished reading the professional books she needed to read in her junior and senior years. Suggestion: a long time has passed, and a small part of professional knowledge is still in my head. No more than beginners. Ruan Yu has a very good memory, and her learning ability is top-notch. She paid to read a few big names' interpretations of the recent industry, and the knowledge structure that she had gradually forgotten resurfaced in her mind. It is not comprehensive, but it is more than enough to buy stocks and funds. Grasping the recent direction of the industry, Ruan Yu exited the website and was about to look at stocks, when her eyes inadvertently glanced at the question that suddenly became popular on the homepage. Help me, everyone, which one to choose between Pyeongchang Technology and Shiryui? I have been arguing with my dad for a day, and I am about to fight. Ruan Yu clicked in and read it briefly. There are many people answering below. After analyzing the two companies, I came to the conclusion, Pyeongchang Technology is still stable, with steady growth, and recent industry reports that Pyeongchang Technology's driverless technology has made a breakthrough, and the stock will definitely rise slightly. Rise. Straight is a subsidiary of Gu's Bazan Group, focusing on clean energy and new energy businesses. After checking the report, Bazan Group invests about billions in this company every year, and cooperates with many universities, magazines, and industry leaders around the world. The development trend in the new energy industry is good, but it is still far from the top level. In general, Pyeongchang Technology is more secure in comparison. Ruan Yu disagrees. Stray's achievements in the past 2 years have improved. World-class university professors have published 2 papers on environmental protection and electricity in well-known magazines. Ruan Yu just confirmed that this person is on the cooperation list of Stray. During this period of time, there are more and more discussions about new energy on the hot search list, and Ruan Yu always feels that something big is about to happen. She tilted her head and thought for a while, clicked on the answer column and analyzed briefly, and concluded that she suggested buying Shiryui. The moment the answer was sent, Ruan Yu sensitively noticed a rectangular piece of red above the word Shiryui Medical, which was the bright red of the rising stock. Ruan Yu rubbed her eyes, then wiped the screen back and forth to make sure that the colors really existed. It lasted for about 30 seconds, and the red color gradually disappeared. Ruan Yu was stunned. She carefully recalled the memories of the novel she awakened 2 days ago. In the original novel, after she was cannon fodder, she was scolded for 4 days on the hot search list. Skyrocketing. 10 minutes later, Ruan Yu recovered. Even the setting of living in the novel world can be accepted, and it seems nothing to be able to see the future investment direction. Perhaps, this is the world's compensation for her miserable life. Ruan Yu suddenly wanted to know, if she was abducted at the age of 2, might it be the fault of the master of the plot? Unfortunately, there is no answer to this question. Retired Xianyu didn't want to think about such a mysterious topic, so he asked Wei Wen to prepare a bath with essential oils and have a good sleep. While taking a bath, I was bored and used my tablet to read the forum just now. Unexpectedly, there was a commotion because of her answer. Most people are skeptical. Not to question her answer, but to question her identity. First-level users also come to pay to answer? Not free? Answer 300 times, steal money? Although I didn't see what it was, I suggest latecomers not to click in to send money. I spent money to watch it, but I was also complaining. It's nothing worth looking at. Let's talk about Shiru Hao. A novice with a brain that thinks about money and goes crazy. Camel, you are the only one who gave him money. Ha 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 ha. Camel continues to carry forward the spirit of the rich second generation. See the favorite post. By all the answers. Ruan Yu frowned. She didn't know that she could answer questions for free. As for the answer of 300 yuan, it was just the system default. These people are purely off the mark. Respondents who don't have a small mark on the leaderboard will be labeled as novices, and no one will be given a chance to survive. It's a bit boring. Ruan Yu received a prompt message when she wanted to quit. Someone else bought her answer. A user named Xian really wants to get rich sent her a private message. I think you are right, I will buy Shire Yui for the last 800 yuan, and bless me to make a lot of money. Just let my brother use it to chase stars. Seeing the master being besieged, the user Xian really wants to get rich went straight to the countless camels jumping up and down. Don't blabber, I want to buy Shire Yui. What an idiot. If you don't buy it at the opening tomorrow, you are a grandson, and I will buy Puxiang for 2 million. Oh, don't cry and call daddy when you regret it. When Xian really wants to get rich was offline, countless camels were still there, complaining about novice idiots who didn't listen to Danu. Ruan Yu saw that Xian really wanted to get rich, trusted her with the last bit of money to buy her, and wanted to invest all her family property in Shire Yui, so she imagined the poor girl has no pocket money, and was forced by her brother to buy her. There is a tragic story about a desperate fight to make money by speculating in stocks. Protecting the poor is everyone's responsibility. The little pitiful still defended her desperately. Ruan Yu frowned and replied to those who questioned her in the building, the analysis has been presented, believe it or not, judge for yourself. After replying, she hurriedly went offline, and Ruan Yu fell asleep on the bed after skincare. There is still a highlight waiting for her tomorrow. Spend 100 million, and the progress is about 1/100 completed. There are more than 98 million waiting for her to spend. The next day, I slept until 10:30 and got up. The career tyrant boss brother has already spent 2 miserable hours at work, and what's even worse is that it's not counting commuting time. Ruan Yu felt guilty for a while, turned on the super large and large TV, watched 2 short dramas during skincare, asked Wei when to serve breakfast to the restaurant on the 7th floor, went out to check Weibo beautifully, and enjoyed a hearty breakfast. As she swiped, a piece of news caught her attention. She knows how to spend money.